Okay, I need to figure out. Wait, multi-chat. Wait, this is what I want. Yes, I want multi-chat. Okay, I did it. I think I did it. Okay, hi. I think I did it. Hold on. We're trying out multi-stream today, chat. We're gonna see how it does. Why are you unsafe? Average bitrate too high. That's not helpful though. I don't know how to fix that for you. Okay, hold on. YouTube 2. Yes, so on the second channel, we are also live. I think I did it right. So this is the Swell Shenanigans Clips channel, also known as the former podcasting channel, chat. So we're gonna try it out, and then I have my OBS set up to flag both chats. So I'm checking the live right now. I'm pulling it open just in case. Close. Okay, no one's in chat. There's that. Hello. Hi. Yay, it worked. Okay, we have double chat. Let's go. Hi, welcome in. Okay, this is perfect. I don't know if it's going to show up on... Ooh, okay, so on screen, I think only Twitch chat will show up because that's... I don't think I can do double Twitch. I don't think I can do double chatters on screen. So I think it should still be on screen. It's just Twitch for like who shows up like actually physically on the screen over here, chat. Brumps, thank you for subscribing with Prime. Hold on. Where is it? Brumps, you won the Swell Grand Prix with a Prime boost. Thank you for subscribing and supporting Swell Speedy Science September. Yes, but hi, welcome in, gamers. Okay, you guys are pretty delayed, so that's good to know. Nothing crazy. Can someone from the okay, good. Sparkly, are you on both? Sparkly, have I made you a mod on this channel? Because I might need to mod you. Hold on. Okay, can I mod you? Yeah, I'm going to mod you, Sparkly. Okay, hang on. Add as moderator. Managing. Save. Perfect. Okay, you are now a managing mod on this channel as well. Okay. Yes, okay, so I was right. So unfortunately, I do not know how to fix that, chat, because our alerts are all done via Twitch for what's on screen for OBS. Unfortunately, it's not perfect. My hair is also a mess. I was wearing a hat when I went and got groceries. So, all right. This is good. This is good. Progress, okay? So Sparkly is now double modded, chat, which means that Sparkly has, like, the super duper ban hammer. So hi in YouTube chat, hello. No, this is perfect because all the chats are labeled. So this is perfect. So I am using Stream Elements chat on my OBS, which labels where each chat comes from. So I can tell when you're chatting on the YouTube side versus the Twitch side, so I can interact with both chats without having both streams open. This is fantastic. This is good. Okay. I don't love the Twitch quality, I mean the YouTube quality, but that doesn't surprise me because I also don't love the Twitch quality. The Twitch quality is slightly better, but not much. Why are you in 720? I hate this camera. It's mostly the camera, chat. Actually, wait, this might be the same quality, and I might just be annoyed. Okay, I need to add so many different... I need to just find ways to update all of this, I think. Am I able to... I have no idea what to do. But yeah, there's like a top fans thing on YouTube. I don't know. This is high tech. Is it? But yes, hi guys. I know this channel is very inactive, extremely over on the YouTube side of things. Retro vibes, yes. The YouTube channel is extremely inactive currently. Also, this camera is super botched. But you see, I got a streaming PC not too long ago, and so I've been meaning to do this for... God, since I started doing Twitch, once I finished my Twitch contract. For those of you who don't know, YouTube side, Twitch side, all of that. I started Twitch because Twitch was like, we will give you money to stream on Twitch and not game. And we were like, sure, okay. Why not just give Twitch streamers more money? And they're like, haha, you're funny. I was like, all right. They went to a bunch of YouTubers and gave a bunch of us money to stream 20 hours a month. Very, very low bar, frankly. So long as we didn't game. Hi, Hermes. I was one of, I think, a handful of people that got renewed because a lot of YouTubers don't like being unedited, unfiltered, things like that. And I don't script when I make a video, so it just clicked really well for me. And then I got renewed, and then that program stopped. So that stopped, God, over a year ago now. God, it was probably March of 2024, I think is when it ended. Hi, Bubba's. Yeah, he wants my socks. I have socks on. He's down here. So once that was, but during that contract type, I wasn't allowed to stream on YouTube as well, because that's where the bulk of my audience was. And Twitch was like, well, you can promote Twitch, but like you're not co-streaming. I was like, okay. Are you gonna game today? Probably not game. It should say videos. I think I put videos on the title. Let me check. Yeah, I put videos. Probably no gaming right now. I did see someone who was offering potential stream keys for a game to test out, which was like a really cute like pixel witchy game. I didn't reply, but we shall see about gaming. But yes, we have. I do want to see how all this. Hermes, I love you. You cannot have my socks. I'm talking to people. Thank you. You guys can probably hear him going like. Welcome in. We're multi-streaming for the first time in a while. Yes, hi. So I do pretty good about checking chat and all of that. But yeah, hi. Hello. My pet's name is Benjamin. Cool. This is high tech, Subswell. Retro vibes. Hi, man. How's your day today? I found out that but that's why we have not done this yet, because I was like, I think my Mac would explode if I tried to co-stream. Now we have the PC. Finally figure out how to do this in a way that didn't ask me to spend money. So that's cool. Was it Little Witch in the Woods that came out today? And I've been curious about it. I did see it. We shall see. But yes, no, for those of you who don't know, hi, I have been in this apartment for 2 years. My lease is up in October, and I finally got a delayed, come into frame so they can see you. Come here, so they can see. Look at that, look at the bubbas. He's so silly. Editor's the team at this current time. Hello. But no, the hi, I love you. Yes, I also have apples up here, which I think that's what he wants. But because I went to the store. It's my grocery shopping day. It's been 2 weeks since I last went to the grocery store. I've stretched all my groceries really well, but got my offer, and basically the new rent offer that they originally offered me was $220 more than what I spend right now. Okay, which is a good sizable increase. But what it also is it puts my rent at higher than that of the 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom units in my same complex. I have a 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom. This does not count as an extra bedroom. It's technically a 1.5 bedroom because this is not enclosed. There's no door. Like, this technically could be a 2nd bedroom, but it's not. Okay, this is my office. So that's fun. But yeah, it's, so I sent a counter, and I was like, respectfully, the fuck? I've not gotten the official counter offer yet, but I've been told that it's like somewhere in the middle. So they're probably going to try and raise it like $100 instead of $220. Okay, which I got to decide if I think that that's worth it or not. I think it's a little absurd, frankly. But they've also been very clear. It's like, you have a good unit, you get great sunlight, and frankly, for those who don't know, I'm not in Eaton, I'm not in Santa Anita, not Santa Anita. I'm not in Altadena, but I've a lot of the people moving in right now are people that lost their homes in the fires. Okay, so my unit would be rented out probably very, very quickly, which I also think these are too expensive units for people right now. Like, I want them to get more reasonable housing when they're using insurance money right now. You know what I'm saying? Mail a while ago about editing and clipping your streams. Yeah, I saw Sparkly's comment before yours. Sparkly also is my digital assistant chat, for those of you who don't know. So Sparkly also sees the emails. Typically, we're not currently looking for editing right now. The reality is that I am trying to avoid getting my team too big so that I can take care of my people currently. Because the economy is not, the creator economy is not recession proof, despite what I've seen some people saying. So I am making sure I keep my team semi-small so that I can continue to, pay my people if things get bad or anything like that, What's that in the background? It's the inflatable thing. This is an inflatable Formula One car. It is a not Red Bull car. There's the top bit. That's the steering wheel. It's a inflatable Formula One car. I have 3 of them. I like F1. If you would like to see a video about these things, Girly Pop Go is my other YouTube channel. Where I did a full video on these things, so that's what that is. It's a pool floaty that's like themed around Formula One. Moving really, really sucks though. I know, and I don't have time to move. I really don't. It would be a nightmare. So I really don't want to. Drop dramatically while you explained LOL, but it's chill. Oh, weird. I don't know why. Probably because I leaned over here. Mike is over here. Basically, go to Girly Pop Go. I made a full video on it. It's an inflatable Formula One car. Hi, chat. Hello. Ready for Baku? Yes. So we do, for those of you on YouTube, we will see how this works. I do race watch-alongs. The watch-alongs, for those who don't know how that works, basically I watch the race on one screen and we yap, and some people listen to me like it's commentary, some people listen to me like it's the radio. You can watch the race on your end. It's totally your cool. If you want to like play both of the commentaries and hear us battle each other back and forth, totally cool too. Sometimes we would have the timings on screen. We did have a legal timing that we were able to use. However, F1 has changed the API for the live timings, probably because there's been so many issues with the live timings currently this season. I don't know why. But what was I going to do? Oh, my calendar. Duh. I'm like, what am I looking at? The calendar is what I need. Okay, there we go. Calendar. Because the calendar, sign in with different account. What do you mean? I do have access to this calendar. Don't come at me like that. Oh, that's what, never mind. It's the wrong, I was on the wrong calendar. I have too many accounts, chat. It's 3 a.m. this week. It's 3 a.m. Yeah, so, okay, it's not too bad. So the race is 4 a.m. for me this week, chat. So qualifying will be at 5 a.m. Let's see. Yeah, qualifying will be at 5 a.m., which we will be live for those who don't know. I do go live at 5 a.m. We'll probably be live at like 4:30. I'll have coffee in hand. And then we will be live probably at 3:30 for for the race on Sunday. I'll do it. I'll fully do it. This is why I live in a van, too expensive to rent. Honestly, I've been toying with the idea. I toy with too many ideas. I also was toying with the idea of moving to Japan. So I'm just all over the place, frankly. I'm doing nothing with my current rent situation. Thanks, Sparkly. Cool. The crazy to be raising the rent for people who lost their homes. No, so it's people moving in. The current rent rate is like not terrible, I would say, like for the area that we are in, basically. I want them, I wish there was a bigger discount, frankly, for the people who lost their homes, frankly. That's my personal opinion. Because we're months out and people are still like bopping around trying to find housing. It's a mess. What's your favorite event you've been to this year? Non-racing event. DashCon 2, maybe? Baku 2024 will be hard to beat. So much delicious drama. Checo and Carlos smashed together. Oh, a certain future Cadillac driver is going to be apparently at a certain baseball team's game this week. I will be checking tickets. I have not decided if I will go yet, but I will be checking. Do I have time? I don't even know if I have time to go. I should try. We shall see. 4 is better than 3, but Max needs to win again, so I will suffer. 5 a.m. Oscar overtake from a mile away. The best. I'll order donuts. There you go. God. Lordy, I can't wait to wake up in the middle of the night to see you live on Twitch. God. Japan is so expensive, but I would love to move there. See, I did not find it to be expensive when I was there. And, like, I do know people that currently live there that, you know, are not from there, I should say. So it's something that I've been looking at and toying with the idea of, you know, that's kind of where I'm at, Checo. Just waiting for the Checo Caddy merch to drop, my dude. I was tempted. Apparently, he's part owner of the Cadillac team, too. Checo? It'd be interesting. But yeah, we'll see. My friend sent me like, oh, they're gonna be at the Dodger game, and or he's gonna be at the Dodgers game, and my friend sent me it and was like, you have to go for me, because she's about to go on a trip. And I was like, I'll check tickets. I have yet to check tickets, but we shall see. I actually have never been to a Dodgers game at Dodger Stadium. I've seen them play at the Angels Stadium, but I've actually never been to Dodger Stadium, like inside. Dodgers owner. Ah, that makes sense. I have an apple with cinnamon. It's fun. No, I've been to many Angel games. I've been to, you know, Fenway Park. I've been to the Padres Stadium. Like, I've been to many stadiums. I just have not done Dodger Stadium. My family has. I was just always working whenever they would go, and then I became self-employed and then never actually went to a game. I gotta try. Okay, good. It's not too off. I'm so curious. Edit. And I just want to see what I can do for... Oh, interesting. Okay, sorry, chat. I'm turning ads on for you, YouTube. You guys were off. I want you guys to know, for YouTube viewers, hi. Twitch gets ads too, so don't freak out if you're like, how dare you? Twitch gets ads as well. Let YouTube insert mid-rolls for you, recommended. That's what I'm going to do, so I don't, because I'll forget, okay? They gave me 3 options, conservative, balance, or aggressive, for the amount of ads that you get. I'm so curious. And you carried me through COVID, LOL. Hell yeah. Okay, I'm choosing balanced, but I want you to know there is an aggressive opportunity for ads. I'm so curious. I would love for you guys to tell me how the ads breakup is. How it, because I don't spend a ton of time on YouTube live streams. So, customization, close, anyone, live chat, totally cool. Okay. Perfect. Okay, let's go back to, wait, how do I go back to live? Perfect. Okay, I think we're good. I think it's fine. Okay. For once, I don't regret having YouTube Red. There you go. Franco will be, is it still, it's YouTube Premium now though. They've changed it so often. I didn't even realize. Franco will be lucky to have a seat next to your TBH. Alpine is a mess. Yeah, I'm still bummed about Jack, but I also want Paul Aaron to have a seat, so that's my personal opinion, frankly. What's your opinion on Franco Colapinto? Don't know anything about racing, but he's from my country, so default love him. I was very excited about him last year. He clicked in very well, I feel like, with Williams. Less so currently with Alpine, but Alpine is a mess, unfortunately. I don't think he's done anything too noteworthy this year, unfortunately. But he's come into a season that was already fraught with a mess, with multiple messes, and into a team that was already a mess. So we'll see what he does next year if he sticks around. But Flavio Briatore seemingly very much likes Franco. And, I mean, Franco is good for... He performed so well in comparison last year that it, you know... I wouldn't say let me think of the wording. The rise in Argentinians that were like pursuing racing because of Franco last year that they could measure in the 9 races he was in was insane. So I think if they want to keep money in the sport, they will continue to try and give him a seat, or at least have him involved in Alpine in some capacity. Plus, Alpine was always looking for more money. So I do think that he'll get another year, potentially. That's a humble beginning. My first video of mine was the Nugget After Dark. I'm so sorry. That's okay. You should put it at aggressive for a couple hours and see what happens. You have YouTube Premium. You're telling me to use aggressive and see what happens. I am noticing views are a little lower here on Twitch, but I don't know if that's because a few of you are over on YouTube. Like, what's the YouTube viewership right now? Okay, currently 22. So not crazy. I'm so curious how this is going to play out. Close. Oh wow, the controls, like, cause this is fascinating. Sorry, it's been so long since I've been live on just like YouTube for the sake of being live on YouTube. Interesting. The way I've got both streams up and just darting between the two like a tennis ball. I've got premium too, LOL. Go for it. Okay. I mean, hey, we'll see. Well, let's try balanced for a little bit and then we'll see where we're at. I'm so curious how this is going to go long term, you know, but I'm going to leave it for where it's at for now. I hate the controls for YouTube sometimes. No, the YouTube ones don't make sense. YouTube chat, how many of you would normally be watching on Twitch? Yes, YouTube chat, how often do you guys watch on Twitch ever? Or have you never watched on Twitch and you're just YouTube? Prefer Twitch, but I got notifications on YouTube. Gotcha. Oh, okay, this is good too because the YouTube chatters can't see the Twitch chat aside from when it's on screen. And then YouTube chatters, Twitch chatters, you guys can't see them, huh? So I'm just answering. Oh, this is kind of fun. This is fun. I have control over 2 domains. Doesn't always notify, makes sense. Hello. Hi, Kuna. Prefer Twitch, but I got notifications on YouTube. The first video I saw of yours was I Tried Hunt a Killer. Gosh, that's a deep cut. I'm watching on both channels right now. Twitch doesn't always notify. I'm the opposite. Got the Twitch notification, but didn't get the YouTube notify. See, it depends on which channel you subscribe to. Also, I don't know do I have alerts on this channel? I don't know, because I also didn't go live in the same way that I normally would go live on Twitch. I mean, YouTube. You know what I'm saying? Like, just different formatting. Twitch I don't use as much, but I'm much more often on YouTube. Makes sense. YouTube notice I've muted. That's fair. Interesting. It's also pretty early and it's a work day. It's a Monday at 2:03. So alternative universes. I often don't get the Twitch notifications, but usually prefer hopping on Twitch. Normally watch on Twitch, but YouTube is better for mobile. There are some tools that you let combine chats. It'll be like Twitch user X, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, that's what I'm using right now. Like, what I can see is showing up on mine. However, the on-screen chat, my chat that I'm looking at via OBS, because I have Stream Elements, is connected. However, our on-screen chat is done via Twitch. So that's why it's showing up like that. Do you daily drive a sports car? Love cars, but get more into racing content due to your videos. I do not daily drive a sports car. I have a Camry. I have a Toyota. My rule for myself, I would love a more fun car. I would love like a fun car that I can drive around. And every person that I know that's like a hobbyist when it comes to cars is like, no, that's perfect. You have a Camry because it's so responsible. You can have like a bunch of dumb fun cars because your daily driver is so responsible. Because it's like the Camry, the Corollas, those type of cars are known as like the responsible like woman's car, basically, is my understanding. And I would love another car. However, oh, I just realized my echo is happening. Hold on. I did not hear myself this whole time. For those of you who are just joining us via YouTube, thank you for gifting subs. Anonymous gifted a sub to Sparkly Kiss. Sparkly Kiss got gifted an anonymous sub. Woo, woo, woo. So, thank you, Anon. I appreciate you. Thank you. Are you stuck in ads, Sparkly? I really hate that there's ads that I like. When it comes to mods, I can't like mod someone and then they get no ad privileges. Like, that's my personal take. I think they should get no ads. Hi, Meta. Hi, chat. Hi. Yes, but there's tools that let Twitch chat show up in YouTube and vice versa. Gotcha. Did you see Max at Nordschleife? I did not watch it, but I did see like the updates and things like that. I did love the jokes about him being like a rookie, which was very fun. Streaming both YouTube and Twitch, it might be worth looking into Truffle. Truffle? Also, guys, finished another notebook, which means that I am now on the Apothecary Diaries notebook. Hold on. I violated my no-buy for this notebook. Look at it. Look at it. It's so good. Look at, I'm in the Mau Mau section. Inside, it's just got Mau Mau in one corner and Jinshi in the other, and that's the same throughout the entire notebook. But yeah, this is my to-do list for today. Okay. I will check out Truffle. Because I'm one of those people, chat, that I need, for memorization and, like, staying on topic, writing it out works so much better for me. Like, a phone note doesn't work. Typing it doesn't work. But yeah, no, I want a fun car. I can't have a fun... Also, YouTube viewers, if you're just now joining us, you're going to learn I have undiagnosed ADHD. It becomes very apparent when you are watching my streams. I would like a fun car. However, I will not have a fun car until I own a home. And as we are talking about renewing my rent on this apartment, renewing my lease, I will not own a home for a little bit. So, Franz Herman has a future in racing, LOL. He totally does. I still have my first car, an 09 Mustang, and my current fun car is a Tesla Model 3 Performance. Would you classify that as a fun car, though? Like, hello, I see you. He wants a bit of apple so badly. Hang on. Let me... There you go. Okay. Did you know if you set VODs to sub only and make someone an editor, they can't edit your VODs? Very silly. What? That's stupid. They should pay for the privilege. Pay for the privilege of no ads. Yay, Apothecary Diaries. Wait, that's such a cute notebook. Yeah, this was the first, like, official piece of Apothecary Diaries merch that I found that wasn't a plushie, wasn't a shitty pendant, and, like, wasn't a lanyard. So I saw that at Anime Expo, and I was like, I think I need that. No, it wasn't Anime Expo. It was San Diego Comic-Con. And I bought it. It was like 19 bucks. Honestly, worth it. Plus, I know I'll use it. A journal I know I will use. But yeah, I finished my... it was the one that I finished before this was a Rowing Blazers journal that I bought when they did a Target collab last year. I have been told... The one... Like, so much of the no-buy has been so nice because companies keep fucking up. Like, every time there's a new company added to a boycott list, I'm like, let's fucking go. No more sending money there. You know, like, I have not been to a Target at all this year. It's been so nice. Just, like, so easy to save money not going to Target. Started bringing Apothecary Diaries because you said you liked it. I'm just over halfway through. Yay! I love Stationery, too. Don't go down the Japanese pen rabbit hole. Oh, trust me, I have. I recently cleaned out all of my pens and stuff yesterday because I canceled stream. Because I was not feeling too hot. I think I'm okay. I think it was just like a few days of bad sleep. You know how it is. And just going, talking like crazy. Saturday, like my day was packed with a bunch of stuff, so I couldn't stream that day because I was so busy. And then Sunday I was like, I filmed and I kept apologizing to William, which happens a lot when I'm filming chat. I like leave little verbal notes for William while I'm filming. Obviously those get taken out. But I kept like apologizing because I kept like coughing while I was trying to read an article. And I was like, I'm so fucking sorry. Like, because I'm dyslexic, but I can read chat. so I'm ahead of the curve. I've never been to Target. There you go. I'm a white girl from Orange County. That's like half of our culture. Target. Started binging Apothecary Diaries. Oh, sorry. I'm like trying to read through questions. My fun car is my Honda Civic Sport model. Nice. The acceleration makes it fun. Takes off. Gotcha. Pay to be a mod. I love pens. I work at a dollar store, and very, very occasionally we get cool stuff like glass pens, fountain pens, calligraphy pens, etc. Yeah, Target's $1 to $5 section is a pit, but also not as good as a few years ago. No, everything's so. Someone broke it down so well on TikTok where she was like, I feel like we've never been paying more for shittier service and shittier items. And she was explaining like 5 or 6 different things that she's experienced in the last couple of weeks where it's like she's paying exorbitant amount of prices for things that she's done her whole life, but the quality is so much worse. Like she was talking about how she went and got a sports massage because she's like sports injuries from years ago. And so she paid and requested like extra strength, like extra firm pressure. And the woman was like not doing super firm. And she kept being like, no, it's okay. Like you can go harder. Like you're not going to hurt me. And she kept like being like, oh no. Like, and it's like, okay, well then can you swap out? Cause I'm paying for firm, extra firm, you know, type of thing. Same with nails. She bought an iPhone like in March. It broke right away. Like different things like that. A VTuber I used to mod for had a tendency to bring on mostly T3 subs to be mods, and they felt the need to always pay a lot to dedicate like 20 hours a week minimum to helping stream was bizarre and scary to me. Oh. Notebooks and stationery items have been on my Christmas lists every year for 6 years. I wish I could participate in the boycott, but being in a small town, it's either Walmart, Target, or wait on Amazon. It kind of sucks. Yeah, that's fair. I'm very fortunate in that I am in Los Angeles. We have a lot of options. We have a lot of like local places and things like that. Like if the big one ever happens, I'm hoping you guys get what I mean of, you know, the certain news alert of a certain someone passing away. Okay, that's all I'm saying. I will not post a single thing. You guys will not see a single thing posted aside from me going to spend a very nice chunk of money at a local Mexican restaurant. That's what I will do. I will go and celebrate at a local Mexican restaurant, and I will have a good meal, and I will tip well. Okay, that's how I will be selling. You'll see like a photo of like a spread of everything I ordered. That's all you will know for my, that's all you will see. I feel like if you're from a small town, just wandering a Target is a mood. Yeah. I hate that so much. I'm legit a Valley girl. It like makes, it's the likes for me. I hate that so much. OMG, the OG Target dollar spot in the beginning, even in the early 2010s, was amazing. I feel like I have so many like miscellaneous random like tchotchke crap. I didn't realize how much of my money I was just spending on like random decor shit that was like not quality stuff, you know? Yeah, I think of it often because I never went as a mod team like that before in my life. That's why I'm learning to sew. The fabric on my last Gap shirt I got was absolutely see-through for 40 bucks. I have to watch on YouTube because Twitch is blocked at my work. LOL, valid. It's like 7 a.m. Tuesday here in Aus. Oh, okay. Oh, is it? Oh, yeah, so it's the 16th for you. Okay. Also slimy after a wash. The big sneeze, yes. Oh, that? I thought you mean big one as a big earthquake. No, the big one, that is what Californians typically call it, chat, for those of you that are unaware. The big one, we are, quote, overdue, no one really knows, for the big earthquake, because we're on multiple major fault lines. There's supposed to be big earthquakes at certain times that they believe they can predict. They really seemingly can't, I believe. But, you know, I posted about earthquakes the other day because there was an earthquake when I was just like hanging out on the couch with Hermes one night a couple of days ago, and it was like nothing to write home about. Like my lamp swung a little bit, and that's kind of it. And I was like, I literally posted, I was like, sometimes earthquakes in California are literally just like they're acting as if they're your downstairs neighbor whacking the roof, like whacking their ceiling with like a broom to remind you that they're there and they can hear you. Like that's what so many earthquakes are like here. Like you barely, you like register them, but you're just like, okay. Like you don't even tweet about it. Not really. I ordered a bougie stationery advent calendar for myself. Pens are so satisfying. Valid. I worked at a Dollar Tree and Bed Bath & Beyond, and I confirmed that we are indeed paying more for worse quality. I got to see shrinkflation and quality degradation in both stores firsthand. Fantastic way to celebrate. OMG, you need to try Orange Bang. I miss that in SoCal. The local spots always have it. I got 50 bucks going for the Hayward in Berkeley. Or the one that is out in Victorville. Going bonkers. My mind first went earthquake, then was aha. I say as I live near the San Andreas, yeah. The other thing that, like, when I was in college, I started hearing about was that we were also due for, like, a huge, is it the Yuki bear, or is it the bowl? I swear, it, like, hang on. I hate this camera. There we go. The other one that I started hearing about when I was in college was, like, we are due for a cataclysmic storm, essentially, which, like, every time that we get a lot of rain, they're like, oh, it's the marine layer coming in, but, like, they're saying, like, no, there is going to be a storm that is going to last, like, 2 weeks and get, like, 30, like torrential downpours and stuff. And then since then, we've had, like, literal, like, hurricanes hit SoCal and stuff, and I'm just like, this is not that bad, actually. Sounds like normal Pineapple Express. The fault lines, yes. Very wet. I mean, last year we got like 2-3 weeks of pretty consistent rain. I talked about this the other day where it would rain for like close to like 3 or 4 days, stop for a day or two, just long enough for them to start making repairs on the roads, because we're just not built for the infrastructure of rain. And then not long after it would rain again, which would cause even more damage to the roads. It was crazy. Yes, we talked about how poisoned our groundwater is. The UC's hammered that into us a lot. Yeah, pretty much all of my science professors would talk about like our hard water and things like that. I got to miss a school for 2 weeks thanks to Northridge quake. I'm cool with it staying away. Yeah, but rain in LA such because y'all are on a floodplain desert. Yep. We shall see. This summer, I think it's finally down. What's the heat at today? Let me check. Okay, we're back at 92 in my area. We were down to 85 for a couple of days, which was so nice. It was so nice that the heat finally broke, but now we're back. We had, I swear to God, close to a full month of it being 93 for like it would be 80 by the time it got dark and I was taking Hermes for his walk. Hi. He's literally right here, chat. You see him? His little head, his little brows. As well, I've here we are being spoiled. Unless, yes, we are trying out dual streaming. I can see your comments. I have no idea what it would show up as though if you guys were to do like a paid promo. Like if you guys were to do like a little bonus thingy. Like if you guys were to do like a $1, because you know how on YouTube it pops up like, oh, so-and-so tipped $1 and asked this question, like highlights it. I don't know how it would show up on here, so I'm curious. No, Sparkly, don't even think about it, because I know Sparkly's thinking about it to test it out. Unless, I think you have to enable it. Do I have to use Super Chats? Super Chats should be on. Let me check, hang on. Let me see, channel level settings, no. Overlay, cancel. Okay, YouTube Studio. I'm not seeing that option. Oh, okay, you are. Okay, hang on. Earn, Super Chat, Supers. Oh, get started. You're right, I did not have it on. I've read, yes, accept. Super Chat. Okay, everything is on. Cancel, close. Okay, cool, should be good. I don't know if it'll affect now, it might affect later. Okay, good, not just me. I'm mobile, we'll refresh. Okay, yeah, so I didn't have it on. Okay, so if one of you decides to, you don't have to. You're totally cool. I'm just wanted to see, I wasn't sure. So, Sparkly was entertaining the idea, LOL, I'm sure. I was deaf doing that, ha ha ha. I don't have that option to do it, LOL. Okay. Yes, Super Chat, supers. Have you thought of planting some hardy plants from somewhere like Australia to help with all that water and survive the hot sun? Oh, wait. You know. Close the stream and reopened, not available. Okay, maybe it might be because this is a currently active stream and it won't work on the stream. We can try again maybe a different day if you guys would like. But everything is disabled. Let me see. Overview, watch page ad. Yeah, everything should be good. So, I don't know. We'll see. For me, it is. Oh, they added sending gifts. Did they? Live. Let's do live. View in live control room. Oh, okay, good, not me. Went to Arizona this summer for a wedding, and they were in the middle of a heat wave. The wedding was 115, and it was awful. Yeah, no, I met a woman over this weekend who just did like a half marathon, and she lives in Phoenix, and I was just like, sorry? And she was like, oh no, I did the Disney half marathon. I'm like, oh, thank God. I was like, I'm just picturing you running a half marathon in 120-degree heat. That sounds horrible. And she was like, yeah, no. Super chat options, by the way, they're ugly. No, all super chat GIF options are ugly. Oh, winter. Okay. Interesting. Winter, I see it over here. Let's see what happens. Winter, thank you for the $2. Okay. I don't think it's showing up on here. I'm looking, but it's also delayed over here, so let me see. Oh, have you seen the Epic the Musical merch drop? It's horrible. Even as a super fan, I'm like, bro, what? No, I have not. I heard about the box set. I did not see the merch. I have it on mine. Okay, interesting. Winter. It's straight up not showing up over here on Twitch. But also it's delayed. So I'm going to see. We have an ad rolling now. Let me see if it comes up in a second. I hate that they give super chat options. YouTube does tend to have a very thick delay. Hello, hope you've had a good week. Now we know. Okay, interesting. Good to know. Winter, thank you. It does work over. So, okay. Wow. So the super options do not show up in the chat logs on OBS. Straight up. Winter, I got your now we know message, but not the super chats itself. One of the shirts is white text on an opal shirt, no color change options, either blue or opal shirt color. Like what? Oh, time to super chat some cuss words. Don't do that. Sparkly. Okay, well, good to know. I guess I'll just make sure I have this open always then, so I can see. I mean, I can sort it by fan funding, so I can see that highlighted. Okay, on this end, it only highlights that. That's so weird though. Okay, good to know. Let's see. Epic. Let's react to the Epic. The musical merch. Delay is 15 seconds. 7.52 is the 7.7 to you. No, because I got Winter's no problem. Like when his pop, I like when it shows up to the chat. The delay for the video, yes, probably. Chat, it's pretty live. Okay, let's look up the Epic the music. Let's see how screen shared. YouTube viewers, tell me how this looks on your end when I turn it all on. Okay, I want to see the YouTube, the Epic, the musical merchandise. Will you ever bring Peachy Derby live? Peachy Derby? Which one do you mean? I should clarify, you guys are more highs in the city than we do, at least more than Baltimore, but ours is wider in some places. Gotcha. One of the shirts is white text on opal. Time for super chat. Da, 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 da. Looks good. Okay, cool. Yay, let's look at merch. Serves as a vital component in the broader... Why is everything Why did you write it like this? Why is every word capitalized? Pardon? Too small. It's the full screen. I can't pull it up, unfortunately. This is the size of it all. It's not going to be readable for y'all. This is just how it looks. This is the website. Feels wrong to read text with every word capitalized. I don't know why it's like that. Is that the whole website? Okay, let's look at the store. Oh. Oh, okay. Well, like, this makes sense to me. I mean, you may not like it, but, like, this makes sense to me. Like, basic, boring font like this. Hi, Jessica Roses. Yes, we were trying out a double stream. Warrior of the Mind. Okay. See, I like, in this instance, okay, you take the font... the Epic at the bottom, that little baby Epic, and you put that on the back up here or on the entire big back. And then you just have this at the front. 2906 is an interesting choice. Why is it camo? It says Eric, not Epic. Yeah, no, Epic So Epic is a musical version of the Odyssey chat, for those of you that are unfamiliar. Okay, zoom. Come on, give me zoom. Oh god, what is that? The Troy Saga. What is this pixelation? I just don't like how it doesn't take up more of the hoodie. These are not good. And you had to buy a CD bundle with it originally with every shirt or hoodie. Ugh. This looks like it could be AI. I'm sure it's not, because they're pretty good about not doing AI, but this does not look ideal. Let's see. Like, I just feel like this could be so sick on a bigger print. Like, if you did it better. Like, this is just... Yeah, see, like, this fits this shirt more. I don't like it, but it fits the shirt more. Like, why is this so shrunken down when this fits the sweatshirt more? Like, I don't know if it's showing up for you guys, but, like, this is abysmally tiny compared to this. That's it? Ugh. I don't like it. It's a no. I wasn't inclined to buy it anyway. I'm on a no merch thing. Oh, whoa, Sparkly. It shows up as a modeler. Amanda makes all kind. Why is the Fossabot show up as a modeler? Do you see that? Wait, is that doing it over here? That's so weird. The Fossabot alert showed up. Oh, okay, Super Chat does show up, just not over here. I did get your Super Chat, Winter. It shows up on OBS just in the wrong spot. It shows up like where my like tips go and things like that. Let's see what happens. Yeah, I did $2 Super Chat. Okay, so it does show up there. So weird. I don't like how they type them out. No, I don't like it. If you're unfamiliar with Epic the Musical, just check out Hold Them Down music video. That's a crazy place to start, frankly. It's giving the drop ship stuff at Hot Topic. Whereas a little underwhelming, so ugly. And you had to buy a CD, not the camo. Are those hats colored in Photoshop? Oh no. It makes it look like Eric, not Epic, yeah. .4-inch screen. Hi, Bubbas. Okay, so the Pitt won a bunch of Emmys yesterday, chat, and I'm very happy for them. Very excited. I was already excited because they won a few of the like early Emmys too, but the Pitt won Best Drama, and I'm very excited about it. They also won like casting and things like that. Very excited. I love the Pitt, chat. I love the Pitt. Best Drama, Best Actress in a Drama Series, Best Lead Male in a Drama Series, I believe as well. Noah Wiley won. The actress who plays Dana won. The actress who plays Abbott won a week ago. I think I'll watch it for the award suite. I love the Pitt. It's definitely one of those shows where it's like, once if you can handle like a little bit of like, they don't hold back. Like, you see a degloved foot at one point, you see a baby being born, like you see some wild shit in that show, but it's so well done. They manage the amount of actors and talent and characters so well. You get such great introductions to everyone. But the whole premise of the show, okay, the whole first season, takes place over the span of one shift. So rather than it's like, okay, this episode is this day, then it's this day, every episode is 1 hour of the same shift. So you get to see how these characters evolve throughout one shift in an emergency room. It's so sick. It's incredible. I love it. Season 2 is airing in January. I'm very excited. And guess what comes back tomorrow? Guess what's airing tomorrow? Season 2, episode 1 of High Potential. I'm very excited. It's a good week for me. It's a good week for me. Mel is a queen. Double gasp. A great medical. Okay. If you guys ever watched Psych, you will love High Potential. Okay? You will love High Potential. Morgan is a high potential individual. She has a crazy high IQ. Okay? But she's like a cleaning lady, really bad at holding down a job. Okay? But she gets a cleaning job inside a police station. Okay? And ends up solving a case essentially while cleaning, and like kind of gives them all the work and then like leaves because she was cleaning the police station. And they were like, who the fuck changed the board? Not actually, but like they're like, who changed the board? Okay? And they bring her back in. They're like, why did you change it? And it's like, you guys had the wrong suspect. The person you're looking for is like a victim. It's so well done. Like every episode, it's great. She's making friends constantly. Cause like, I feel like a lot of like the newer, like high potential individuals that are like really intelligent, they're like really portrayed as like being really antisocial and bad with people. Morgan is such a people person, you know, and she's a single mom and she's just awesome. And she's got like, it's just so cool. It's so good. I'm not even selling it right. Okay. But it's so good. The dynamics are good. I love it. It's very fun. It's very fun. And I need 8,000 more seasons of it. Everything you wreck, LOL, as per usual. I've seen so many clips from the series. I love High Potential. I will accept High Potential slander because I know it's not everyone's cup of tea. Okay. But I love it. And I love Morgan. And I love that she has like almost like a nanny-esque style, like from The Nanny, like a Fran Fine type of style, while going to active crime scenes. Like she's going to crime scenes in a miniskirt, and I think that that's very, very fun. It's based off of a not a British show, maybe a British show. I think of the same regard. Apple Musical Merch seems like an unofficial site. Is it? It was not the unofficial site. I was on the Epic the Musical site. Hang on. Epic the Musical. Hold on. Catalog. Oh, here we go. This is the actual one. Okay. So no, this one. Okay. Hold on. Thank you for following. Okay, hold on. We will go back. Here's the site. Not far off, chat. Okay, here's the actual site. Okay, so these, horrible, frankly. White on tan. This is the, so this is what the chatter meant when they were like, oh, you have to buy everything connected. When does a man become a monster? Is that on the back? Okay. Ruthlessness is mercy upon ourselves. I mean, not much better, frankly. Is this everything? That's the exact same design as the other one. Yeah, this is the 4 CDs. So this is it. This is literally everything. So the other one at least had other options, even if it was unofficial. The official one is so $55, $55, $55, $3.50, $25. Yeah. Okay. So you're right. That other one was unofficial. The official one's not much better. I think the thing is, like, I also like how imperfect they make her and how much more than just her intelligence she is. Yeah, like, she's an incredibly emotional person as well. And she also shows, like, I really like her dynamics with her kids. She's got a teenager, who's, like, overwhelmingly normal. And then she has a son who's younger, who is high potential like her, also very intelligent. And then there's a baby as well. And we don't know about the baby, but the baby's very cute. And so, but you just see her as a mom, and she, like, sometimes is like, yeah, no, we're at the crime scene with my children. It's very fun. Watching Hacks, I'm finishing it first. That's fair. I have not started Hacks. I need to watch Hacks. I'm not gonna lie, I wish they had the unofficial. Fiance is gonna grab me the CDs for Xmas. Nice. Okay, if I give you my socks, will you calm down? Chat can't see my feet, so I think it's fine. There we go. You just see a shadow of him lunging for the socks. I'm sold. What streaming service is on? It's on Hulu. So it's currently airing. It is a live show. Like, it airs seasonally on cable, but because it's on Hulu, it also, the following night, so like Wednesday night, episode 1 will be available on Hulu. It's like 24 hours later after it airs on television, it airs on Hulu. I forget we have the Hermes Fossabot. Live chat. She's your vibe. Exactly. You will fall for Hannah Einbinder. I know. I see. It's so funny because I already like know of her. I don't know her or anything like that, but like I know of her, like as you do people on the internet, and celebrities and the like. And so I think I reshared her winning speech because she said, "Go Birds, fuck ICE, free Palestine." So I've reshared that a few times. There's already an article about her trying to be like, that was not brave. It's like, okay. I like her even more. Yeah. No, she loves the Eagles. Like I think there are like on the street interviews of her like crying, so excited about the Eagles. But yes, no, I love High Potential. I'm very excited for it to be back. I think it's the Hollywood Reporter, but like every Hollywood-based press unfortunately has been. Wow, is this that behind? Oh no, okay. Whew. Sorry, this showed me as still being on that fuck-ass website chat, the first one. And I was like, am I that delayed? I am not. Okay, it just was not. That's so funny. Okay. Have you gone to MomoCon? I have not. Anarchy and I were going to go this year. Anarchy went instead with Chris. I was unable to go because I was like, I think it's too much to do that. And then DreamCon back to back. It just would have been too much. So I did not do MomoCon this year. I am open to it next year. Okay, this name is crazy. LOL. It reminds me of a podcast I listened to, Sinister Impotence. It turned off folks I know pretty well. I only watched it because of the title. Hold on. Corny title, but it's so fun. Another one I loved was Scrotal Recall, but they had to rename it because the title is awful. It's called Lovesick Now and was basically abandoned at the end of the day, which is tragic. This show was great too. Oh yeah, that's a crazy name. Sinister Impotence, jeez. Hi. Hermes is looking at me like I'm crazy. Hi. Let's see. But yeah, back on what we were saying earlier about like just like the quality of things going down materials wise, especially doing, I just wrote about this for Substack chat because I have a Substack called The Glasses Files. And I wrote about like an update for my No by Year because I'm 9 months in. And I talked about like a few little slips here and there, but I just talked about like what has actually tempted me because I'm at this point now where I'm like, I've become like almost like addicted to saving money in a sense. Like I'm not so much addicted. That's not the right word. But like, I feel like I used to be much more tempted with like, oh, like what's one little sweet treat or something like that. And then right now I'm like, no, that sweet treat is one, going to take me longer to pay off my rent or pay off my bills for my debt and things like that. But I'm also just like, That's what they want me to do, is stimulate the economy, you know? That was like 30 minutes ago. I know. I have undiagnosed ADHD. Okay, I need this article. Where's this article? Did you guys hear about the scandal rocking the sports world? Did you guys hear about this? We might do creepy camping videos later, but have you guys heard about the scandal rocking the sports world? The World Stone Skimming Championships had cheaters ousted for suspiciously circular stones. They were cheating with stones they were using. Exceedingly frugal. But that was like 30 minutes ago, not Sue. The World Stones. I love sports cheating, chat, for those of you who don't know. I love, like, especially like high profile sports cheating. So I'm fascinated by it. You know what team I want to start cheating, chat? The Sail GP USA team. I don't know how we're going to get them to cheat, but I am sick of us being last in the standings. We have such a sailing dynamic, such a sailing community in the United States. I don't know how we are this bad at Sail GP. We can't keep being the end. It's frustrating. Sort it out. Figure out how to cheat. I think it'll just still be up. This stream on YouTube, chat, is a very big test. I'm basically just trying this out. It'll probably be available on the YouTube that it's currently on, which is the second Clips channel. So we'll see. Have negative points or something. Yeah, we have -8 points. The US Sail GP team, chat, has -8 points. I will pull this up in a second. Hold on. But first, stone doctoring. The rock world has been rocked with controversy. Okay? No bullshit. We do have competitive sailors. 100% we have competitive sailors. 100% we have competitive sailors in the United States. The World Stone Skimming Championships have been hit by a cheating storm after some competitors were found to be using suspiciously circular stones. Skipping stones is something that everybody has tried at some point. However, God, Dexerto, I need you guys to spell check your fucking articles. That everybody has tried. Hire me to spell check at the very least, although I do think it would rot my brain. However, only the best of the best, and not those who see their stone sink after one hop, can attend the World Championships. However, the 2025 championships have been hit by controversy. As per the BBC, no, fuck you, actually. We're going to the BBC. I'm not happy with the BBC right now. They finally used the word genocide eventually, but you know. Cheating scandal rocks World Stone Skimming Championships. This is by Benjamin Russell, BBC Scotland. The World Stone Skimming Championships have been rocked by a cheating scandal after several competitors were disqualified for tampering. Several. More than 2,200 people from 27 countries attended this year's event on the tiny island of Easdale off the coast of Scotland. Rules state that stones must come from naturally occurring island state. However, some were found to have been ground into a suspiciously circular shape to help them bounce on the water. Organizer Dr. Kyle Matthews, holy shit, told BBC News that the offenders had held their hands up and apologized. I am so sorry. Entrants chose their own stones, and judges use a measuring device, the Ring of Truth. I'm so sorry. To ensure they are no bigger than 3 inches in diameter. I'm so excited. Each competitor is allowed 3 skims, and stones must bounce at least twice on water before sinking. This is so good. There's a photo. Chat, there's a photo. Hold on. There's a photo. There's a photo. This is the Ring of Truth. Oh my God. Look, it's engraved, chat. That has to fit inside of the Ring of Truth. This is incredible. This is incredible. It's real. This isn't this is so good. Oh God. Okay. Each competitor is allowed 3 skims. Dr. Matthews, also known as the Toss Master, told BBC's radio's Good Morning Scotland that judges heard rumors and murmurings of some nefarious deeds. There was a little bit of stone doctoring, he said. They had shaped it so that it was perfectly circular and fitted our 3-inch measurer. As it's a piece of metal, I don't think we can blame it too much. The problem was we didn't just notice the time that they were suspiciously circular. As if they could blame the Ring of Truth. Who is trying to blame the Ring of Truth? The Ring of Truth. Durkle, hold on. Durkle, you won the Swell Grand Prix. Thank you for subscribing. Woo! You won the Swell Grand Prix. Thank you for supporting Swell Entertainment and Swell Speedy Science September. Woo! Yes, YouTubers, viewers, if you come over to Twitch and you subscribe, you get to win the Swell Grand Prix. I don't have any designed things for you yet. Oh, God. Dr. Matthews said lessons have been learned and that they would move on to an even greater event next year. I will be there, I think. Entrant Jonathan Jennings went on to victory last week as the contest's first American winner. See, Americans can win things. Skimming his stones a cumulative distance of 177 meters. Is that? I need a video, actually. I need a video. The event was first organized in 1983 by island resident Albert Baker, and after a break was revived in 1997, my birth year, by community group Eileen Isdale. The contest is staged in a former slate quarry that was flooded by a tidal wave in 1881. God, I can't read. It is run by volunteers, and the proceeds support local community projects and charities. Last year, it raised £15,000. Easdale is the smallest permanently inhabited island of the Inner Hebrides with a, I did not say that right, hi, population of about 60 people. Oh, that's it? Okay. Is this a video? This is from 2023. Let's fucking go. Hold on, chat. Hold on, chat. Everyone be calm. Hold on. Hold on. This is apparently a perfect skim. Hopefully this audio works. Oh my God. Look at that form. Incredible.
All of our competitors, they get 3 stones. Those stones have to come from the island themselves, and we check to make sure that nobody...
I need more details about the cheating.
With those 3 stones, they throw them into the championship quarry behind me. The stone must hit the water 3 times, and basically the person who throws the furthest, they walk away with the trophy.
It's a bit more serious.
You don't have to put a huge amount of power.
Professional Alex Lewis. Okay, we're looking you up, bro. Alex Lewis. Professional stone skimmer.
Once you've mastered getting it to land flat on the water and getting a good amount of spin and
King of the stones.
You can start moving your body about to get more momentum in when you're throwing, and you can also get a bit
I
more
love
power
this. Oh, this is so good. Oh my God.
It's almost like taekwondo, where it's all about technique. And
Exactly like taekwondo. I love this. We just standardize the stones and have a centralized authority hand them out. I think that might be the move.
it's just such a kind of.
But I feel like how much of your strategy is picking the right stone and having the skill to decide which stone will give you the best heft, speed, weight, you know. Like, I need to know, did they like, were the stones left behind? Did they sneak on earlier and leave stones behind? Like, I'm so curious.
Being in this kind of zen mode when you're throwing.
Gonna be in a zen
It's
mode.
delightful feeling.
Team Australia!
That's so sick. Actually, hold on. That's a great logo. Their country skipping, the continent/country of Australia skipping. That's incredible.
So Budgie Smugglers are a very iconic Australian swimwear, I guess.
Why not?
But we decided to get some custom ones made with the Australian stone skimming team across the back. We made sure we weren't breaking any rules and they were really on board.
That setup's been really good. All the volunteers have been really helpful.
Really good atmosphere too. Everyone's
Yeah.
cheering each other on.
This is one of the best experiences I think I've ever had. I'm only 16 and currently I have a fractured thumb. So I've been injured for the past few weeks, trying to heal, recover just for this moment. And I've cancelled a lot of events just to be here, and it's really made my day. It's made my whole year.
Locked in. Locked in. Locked in. This is incredible. Amazing, chat. Amazing. Okay. I feel like I need more information about the cheating, though, actually. Okay, there's got to be more information. I feel like there's not enough here. Let me go back to Dexerto. Let's see. I mean, how many competitors were, like, I need more info. I have questions, actually. Why is no one giving me more information? You can't tell me that they've rocked the stone skimming world and not give me actual parameters of the cheating. Sound of the stones cutting through the air and hitting the water. What are we watching? We were watching a video about stone skimming because there was a stone skimming controversy. Sorry, I tweeted out I need more information. It's being covered up by big stone. You're so right, actually. We need to get to the bottom of this. I will make a video on this. I will go there, but also I will make a video on the cheating because I love sports cheating. It just hit a couple of hours ago, or yesterday morning, it looks like. No, this morning. Let's see. Okay. So, chatters, you have a choice of cheating at a rock throwing contest. Almost amazing is calling someone the toss master. Absolutely, Dirkle. Sorry, I didn't realize your comment. Okay. YouTube. Swap accounts. Swell Entertainment. Okay. Evening, y'all. Hi. It's 3-ish here. How do you like the sound? Okay. You have 2 options, chat. Science videos, scary videos. And then I get to decide which of which we watch. Science. We got 1 science. Okay. Trying to think of, I don't see, the only science recommendation up here is forensic science. Let me just check what that looks like for like the recommendations on YouTube first. Because we're not going to watch crime scene footage. Ooh, okay, do you guys want to watch another Wired video where the forensics expert answers crime scene questions from Twitter? On YouTube chat, by the way. Yeah, but it doesn't overlap with Twitch. Scary videos, scary science videos. Yes? Okay. We can start with forensics, and then we shall go from there. Okay. Pause. Okay. And we'll make sure I got the audio right. Properties. Boop. Okay. Why not do both? Eventually we will. Have you heard the Radioactive Boy Scout story? That's an interesting one to check out sometime. I did see it. I think I saw Kyle's video. I didn't watch it, but I did see there. Did Kyle do a video on that? So I did see something about that recently. Or at least a different radioactive video I was watching referenced the Radioactive Boy Scout. Active Boy Scout. Ah! No, I don't think so. Okay, I'll check it. I'll see, because I'm sure someone... I dropped my pen. Where did my pen go, Hermes? Wait. Oh, wait, I see it. I see it. It launched itself in my wires. My cable management is awful, chat. My cable management is so bad, but the best part about being a YouTuber, you guys don't see shit. Kyle is a friend of the channel. At this point, Kyle is a friend of the channel. Are usually cool. Yeah, we watched a nuclear historian. I watched one for an Egyptologist. I watched one for a survivalist. I watched a couple of these now. So yeah, this is a guy answering questions. He's going to introduce himself. Matthew Steiner, crime scene analyst. Let's fucking go.
I'm a senior crime scene analyst.
How's the audio?
I'm here today to answer your questions from Twitter. This is...
How's the audio level?
SNM79 asks, crime scene photo, ... Why did they draw chalk around the body? Well, this was an old school method that they used to use to identify where a body was within a crime scene. Later in an investigation...
Wire probably has done this a few times. So this is Experts. They do also have a series where they have people react to like movie scenes and TV scenes. So I know they've had Daniel Ricciardo react to like race car scenes in movies and how accurate they are. But this is very different. This is like they call it tech support, basically.
After bodies removed, you could see where that body was in its position. We no longer do this because of DNA contamination and trace evidence. So instead of chalk now, we just take detailed photographs. We'll document that scene with a laser scanner. That laser scanner is recording millions of points per second as it's spinning and also taking imaging as it's turning. We have that scene preserved virtually. We can go back and look at the 3D model. We could use virtual reality
apples.
or augmented reality to go back and walk through that scene virtually now if we want to. Forensic Field asks, question, what are the most popular methods for...
See, one thing that I'm always so curious about, because we hear about like disasters in tech and things like that a lot. I'm always curious about something that becomes like widespread in an industry. Like, let's say, forget the chalk, but like something that's like, okay, this is now how it's done, where we're using all this type of imagery or something, and then they actively realize, oh, this is actually harmful to evidence or X, Y, and Z. It doesn't matter that it's more high-tech or it's faster, it's actively causing trouble, and then they walked it back and the whole industry walked it back. I'm so curious of things like that, you know?
Searching a crime scene. The three most common ones are a line search, a grid search, and a zone search, though there are many others. A line search, it would be a line of investigators, and it would search a crime scene in one direction. We search in one direction and we don't find anything. We can then turn that search at 90 degrees and search in another direction.
Guys,
And
tech
that's
support,
called
love
grid
his
search.
videos. I
Looking
did not.
at it at an opposite angle at 90 degrees, sometimes you'll visualize that evidence. The last most common search is a zone search, where you take a crime scene, you break it down into smaller parts. As we discover evidence, we'll go around and we'll mark this evidence. Then we'll take additional photographs showing that scene with the numbers and then close-up views of the evidence. So some markers will have a scale on it to show the size of it. What we need to do is have a very systematic and methodical order that you pick to search these scenes. Doing things at random, milling about is not acceptable. Joseph B977 asks, how many people got away with murder before forensic science improved and DNA? It's a good question.
I feel like that's a question that like we actually can't quantifiably answer, actually. Because I feel like everyone has at least one woman in their family who's now either passed on or like 106, okay, that 100% killed their first husband. You know what I'm saying? Like there's 100%, like I feel like everyone has at least like one extended family member where they're like, yeah, you know, she never admitted to it, but we're fairly certain, you know, Susanna murked her husband when she was like 25, but she's like 108 now and like real quirky and like has dentures, so we don't really worry about it. You know what I'm saying?
Question. I think another good question would be, how many people were wrongfully convicted before forensic science? Science is constantly improving, and our goal is the truth, and we just want our investigation to show that. Years ago,
People are getting away with murder today without future advancements. Yeah, I think about that. Well, like what's the speculation that there's at least like, I don't know if this is the number, but I know it used to be they would suspect that there was at least like potentially 20 serial killers active in the United States at any given time because of like long haul truckers and things like that, and like people that are like genuinely fairly transient in their jobs, so they can like kind of come in and out pretty easily and potentially are killing people. At least that was I don't know if that was still the statistic, at least in the early 2000s, that's what I heard. And, you know, I feel like now especially, I'm shocked like it's actually not more of a problem now. Oh, okay. Did you guys hear about this story? I don't know if there was any other updates to it. There was someone that was missing, a tourist that was missing from Europe, okay, in New York, had gone missing. They like did a wellness check, checked his hotel room, and they found, or his Airbnb, and found that a bunch of stuff that he'd clearly stolen off of people. Come to find out, he is like a pickpocket, and he came to New York to expand his operation. And people were like, stop looking for him. There's no way that guy is alive. You know exactly what happened. He pickpocketed the wrong person and found out. Did you guys hear about this? 20 serial killers per state, you think? My grandma definitely poisoned my grandpa. He even told us she was going to, but she was never prosecuted. Damn. Yes. My great-great-grandfather got another woman pregnant. A couple months later, he just had a terrible fall down the stairs and hit his head. On an unrelated note, Grandma had to get a new cast iron pan around this time. God.
He was out to his car, a bag of trash next to his door, and he does what a lot of people would do, is just kicks the bag. Unbeknownst to him, there was a pipe bomb in that bag, and it detonated. This is back in 2002, and we had...
Oh, God. Oh, God. This is why I don't touch shit. I don't know what's in it. I'm sorry. Hearing things like that is literally an anxiety person's like worst nightmare. Like, oh, this insane thing that everyone tells me is an insane thing to believe actually happened? Really? God, not that it's funny that he got blown up by a pipe bomb, but like, oh God, like, yeah, let me just kick this trash out of the way. Oh God.
I had no answers. 2006, I pulled some of this evidence from storage, and I re-swabbed the wiring and the cap and the threading to the pipe bomb and send that off for analysis. Because in those short 4 years, DNA has advanced. We identified this person inside
Heals
his
her
car.
mental
He had
versus
more
how I
pipe
heal my
bombs
mental
and
could
automatic
not be
weapons.
way more different.
So sometimes the work that we do not only can solve crimes, but it could also save lives. Siva J. Parker asks, how do forensics determine from blood spatter? Are there experiments where you crack open dead bodies with different weapons under different circumstances? First off, it's not blood splatter, it's blood spatter. Blood isn't always red.
Oh, no, I'm kidding. He's the expert.
It could be different colors and tones. Blood from your arteries would be bright red.
No, sorry, the unattended bag. Like, for example, when I'm walking Hermes at night, if I see a bag, I don't touch that shit unless it starts moving, which regularly it doesn't. There, unfortunately, not in this area, thankfully, but like there are times where people are shitheads and they throw a cat out in a bag or something like that when they're just kind of sick of it, or their kid brought one home and they don't want a cat and people are shitheads because there's dirt bags everywhere. That's why I have if it's moving, I will approach and see what the deal is, you know, whether it's a rat that's stuck or whatever, you know, might as well check it and save a little life. But if it's not moving, at the very least, someone potentially shit in the bag. Or there's just trash in it or something, and now I will feel responsible for the bag. Also, you just don't know. I don't like touching things that are on the ground. If I have like a bag with me, like if I'm walking Hermes and I have a bag, and there's a lot of trash cans in my area, I will sometimes pick it up. If it's like something where it's like clearly crumpled, like it's a piece of trash, I'll pick it up and I'll get it. But if it's like just a bag, I can't imagine kicking it out of my way. You know, like even today when I took my trash out, which our trash is in the parking garage of our building, and there was a box in the middle of the like driveway area basically, and one of my neighbors like kicked it over, and I like jumped a little bit, but he did that because he would have driven over it if he didn't kick it over, you know, and it was fine, it was just a box. But it's like, what if it wasn't just a box? Like girl meme where you'll stop to fence to help an animal. I'm learning so much today. Why would I not? Well, I love that with everything you know about me, Sparkly. I would not be that person. I love that you would think I wouldn't be that person. I am that white girl meme of it don't bite, you know, where it's like just look at my fucking dog. Like, I fully acknowledge that I am like, I want to pet it. You know, I am one of those fucking people. I fully acknowledge that. Touching a random black garbage bag. Yeah, like especially something that's like, let's just say out and about in front of my building or something. I'm probably just not going to touch it. I don't know. Sometimes we make exceptions for our own bees. LOL. That's fair. Found a domestic. Like if I'm with Hermes, like I operate very differently. But if I was like just walking to go get lunch or something and I saw like someone, like even if I was with Hermes, if I saw a dog locked in a car and like the windows are not rolled down and I can't find an owner in 5 minutes, I'm breaking that fucking window even with Hermes. Like if I was alone, I'm doing it probably, I would probably wait a little longer because I know that Hermes, like, because if I'm with Hermes, he's freaking out, you know, but I would be breaking the window to accidentally unleash Cthulhu's rabid squirrel. No, I'm pretty good at avoiding squirrels. I don't know, dogs, cats, the like if you come up to me, I'm like, okay, cute, you know, that type of thing. Like saved a bird from a ventilation chute yesterday, sick.
Where the blood from your veins would be a darker color. As that blood dries, it gets oxidized, it's contaminated by the crime scene, it could also change its color and tone. If we have a suspect stain and we don't know what it is, oftentimes we'll do what's called a presumptive test, like we have here. This is an OBTI test. We'll tell you whether that sample could be blood. You still have to sample it. You would send it to a laboratory, and they would say what it is and sometimes to whom it belongs to. Cadavers, though, to your question,
I did see the Jenna Ortega unicorn movie.
Blood stain pattern analysis, but they are used at some universities, and they put bodies in different circumstances. So maybe they'll put the body in a car, they'll put it outside in the open, in a field, different environments to see how those bodies decompose over time. LRCF asks, how did one of the most infamous unsolved crimes committed on Valentine's Day in 1929 lead to new forensic science techniques in ballistics and a reform in gun control? What they're
Valentine's Day Massacre.
referring to is the Valentine's Day Massacre in Chicago in 1929. 7 Irish mobsters were lined up against a wall and they were shot to death. The weapons of choice in this crime was the Thompson submachine gun, or Tommy gun. Back then, anyone could walk into a store and purchase one of these weapons. Because of the public outcry of this case, we got our first federal gun control law, which took these weapons out of the private sector's hand. Also with this case was one of the first uses of forensic ballistic evidence. Forensic ballistics is the study of not only firearms, but projectiles and casings related to a firearm, and able to identify certain bullets or casings to a known firearm. Scotland Yard CSI asks, how do we identify human remains? Well, it depends on the state of the remains. Crime scene investigators work with a medical examiner's office or a coroner's office to determine whether remains are human or not human. Remains that are in an advanced state of decomposition to the point where they're skeletal, generally you want to work with an anthropologist. They could tell you not only whether it's human or non-human, but what part of the body it came from, possibly the age or the sex of the person by looking at different bone growth markers, and then sometimes looking at the damage to these bones could determine the cause and manner of death. CXXIV001 asks, are we sure that every fingerprint is unique? How is it possible? Did you check every single one? No, it's not possible to check every single one. I didn't check every single one. They look at first as a category. They're looking at whether it's a loop, it's a whorl, it's an arch. But then really what they're using to identify is the minutia in your fingerprints. Anytime if you look at your fingerprint, that friction ridge split, it comes together, it starts, it stops, it ends, creates an island. These are all points of identification that they're going to look at. In the 100+ years of analyzing and comparing fingerprints, they've yet to find 2 fingerprints that are identical. GovNG.
Okay, did you guys ever hear of the show Kyle XY? I never watched Kyle XY. The only thing I remember Kyle XY was the ads where the whole premise of the show was that he was born without a belly button. And that, like, I think the reveal was that he was a test tube baby or something. I never watched the show. But I feel like the concept of a show about people with matching fingerprints, there is something there where it's like, they have matching fingerprints. Like, that's the only thing they know about the show. Complains about that. Interesting. Watch the 2 seasons. There was 2 seasons? I swear, I only ever heard of the one.
He asks, no, seriously, does anyone know how to do a druggist fold? Sure, I could show you that now. A druggist fold or a pharmacy fold is a way to preserve small amounts of trace evidence in paper. The first thing you want to do with your paper, you want to fold it into thirds. Fold
3
it
seasons?
Third of the way in, on both sides. Then you want to fold it into thirds again. And then what you wind up, if you open this up, is you have 9 equal-sized boxes. You would then collect your trace DNA, and you put that trace DNA into the center square. And then, very carefully, you want to close that up. You make a little point on one end. Take this point, secure it into the pocket on the other end, and now you have this little bindle now. Then what you do is you would seal up this one end, put your signature across it, the date, and then this would be overpacked into an evidence envelope. From Chumi TM, if DNA could travel anywhere without us even being there, how reliable is DNA in forensics after all? DNA analysis gets more sensitive as time moves on. Technology gets better, it gets more sensitive. There's different types of crime scene contamination, and there's different types of DNA transfer. Intra-crime scene contamination happens within the crime scene. So if I touch this one object and I touch another object, I'm contaminating 2 different objects within the same scene. Inter-crime scene contamination is contamination between 2 unrelated scenes. I'm at a crime scene, I'm standing in blood, that blood is now drying on the soles of my shoes. I go to another unrelated crime scene. Now that dry blood is starting to
wear the
off into
booties.
that crime scene.
Why are you not wearing the booties at the crime scene?
There's different types of DNA transference events that can happen. We have primary. If I'm not wearing gloves and I touch a door handle, I'm transferring my skin cells to that door handle. Secondary contamination would be if you and I shake hands and now I touch that door handle and I transfer your skin cells onto that door handle. When they analyze the DNA, they can tell the difference between a major contributor and a minor contributor. Analyst is not saying you shot that person. They're just saying that there's a presence of your DNA on that weapon. Babyface16 asks, how in the f did OJ...
My favorite part of this series is them trying to, like, be respectful and read the screen names, but they're also low-key judging everyone's screen names.
Simpson get acquitted? Literally, makes no sense. The death of Nicole Brown Simpson and Ron Goldman, it's a roadmap of what not to do at a crime scene. First off, there's tons of miscommunication and mismanagement with the case. Investigators first went to OJ's estate before going to the crime scene. So you have this inter-crime scene contamination. When they arrive, they're told about a bloody patent fingerprint on the gate. So that's a fingerprint impressed in blood on the gate. It's probably one of the strongest types of evidence you can get inside of a crime scene. That fingerprint was never documented and never collected. And by the time they realized it and went back to the scene, that evidence was gone, it was cleaned up. Nicole Brown, she's outside, and to cover her body from the public view, they went inside and they grabbed a blanket from the home and they covered her with it. You want to use a clean sheet to do that, not something from someone's home that already has who knows DNA on it that can be transferred to the body. No one knew about DNA, but since then, everyone knows the importance of DNA with crime scenes. So the investigators, no fault of their own, didn't have these protocols in place. And now most departments do because of this case. I think if that crime scene happened today, and if OJ really did it, maybe we'd have a different outcome today. Vigilante Drones asked, how are drones helping with crime scene investigation and accident reconstruction? Used to be if you wanted to get these overhead views of your crime scene, you needed a helicopter.
I feel like the public opinion of drones has gone up and down so much in recent years. Like, I feel like, at least when, like, for example, recently, there was some dumb fucks that flew drones over the fires, one of which crashed into one of the water planes and took it out of commission because they had to repair the damage because it damaged I believe the whole of the plane, or not the whole, I don't know plane terminology, but it damaged one part of the plane. So they had to take it out of commission. So that was one water carrying plane that was now out of commission while they repaired it because some fuck decided to drive a drone in the flight path. And like I feel like the laws around drones are a little all over the place right now currently.
They're expensive, they're not gonna show up to every crime scene, and there's restrictions on how close they can get to that scene. Now we can get a drone that's inexpensive, easy to use, and put that right above the scene to get our imagery. And there's a lot of other amazing things we could do with drones today. We could pair this technology with laser scanning and photogrammetry to get three-dimensional models of our crime scene from the air. We could put an infrared camera on our drone to search our crime scene. Someone might be buried in a certain area. The soil in the grave is gonna be looser. So that soil is gonna heat up and cool down at a different rate. And we'll be able to see that with the drone with infrared. Aiden Kahana asks, big question. What's the relationship between Sherlock Holmes and the development of forensic science? Sherlock Holmes was a fictional character created by Arthur Conan Doyle. Used his keen powers of observation.
Is that a cat keyboard
along
smash,
with inductive
Sparkly?
reasoning.
Sparkly, is that a cat keyboard smash? Cat on keyboard. Sparkly is cats, chat. Cat, I think that's a cat. Hi, kitty. Hi, kitty, kitty.
Reasoning, deductive.
The fire station I work at already uses drones when searching for people, so they can be extremely helpful in the right hands. Nice. Oh, that's so funny. It shows up as it's so long because of that one message.
The reasoning, the scientific method applied to criminal investigations inspired other famous forensic scientists, notably Dr. Edmund Locard, the father of...
Are you good, dude? Is this bothering you? His delivery of this bit is a little weird, right? Not just me.
Of forensic science, created the first forensic laboratory in Lyon, France. Edmund Locard believed that anytime someone is at a crime scene, something is transferred, something is left behind, and something is taken. And this is Locard's principle of exchange. EP Security Mag, digital forensics. How does it work and why is it significant today? Digital forensics deals with the documentation, collection, processing, and analysis of data on digital devices. It's important because it shows up on every case today. You walk outside to get a cup of coffee, how many surveillance cameras did you pass? We don't walk outside without bringing our cell phone with us that's tracking us everywhere we go. And if you drive somewhere, how many surveillance cameras did you pass? How many traffic cameras did you pass? How many electronic plate readers did you pass? Embedded technology and things that surround us. It started with TVs, but now it's in refrigerators, stoves, and our thermostats. All this data can be used for an investigation. Unfold Labs asks, how can AI help in solving unsolved crimes? If you have a crime scene and you have all this surveillance footage that you gotta look at, this could take hundreds or even thousands of hours. You could take AI along with computer vision, deep learning, and object recognition, and train that program to look for certain objects that's part of the crime. And what would take hundreds of hours or thousands of hours can now be done in a fraction of time. AI is also used in other technologies.
But can it be done effectively and consistently in a way that this type of methodology is being held up in court? You know what I'm saying?
One example is the technology that we use for detection of gunshots. This software and technology is called ShotSpotter. ShotSpotter is a series of acoustic sensors that are set up in different areas that detect and pinpoint gunshots. This technology uses AI to train itself to differentiate between gunshots and other loud noises. Viewpoints Radio asks, what did detectives rely on to solve a case before forensic science was part of the toolbox? Investigators before doing science-based investigations use testimonial evidence, interviewing victims, interviewing witnesses, interrogating suspects, and investigating alibis. Forensic science is objective, and testimonial evidence is subjective. Our eyewitnesses sometimes see something that's not there or miss something that was there. Our suspects that are interrogated, they could lie, and even suspects will sometimes admit to crimes that they didn't even commit. In the end, your witnesses may be wrong, your suspects may lie to you, but your evidence is not going to lie. Women in Forensic asks, how can the communication gap improve between lawyers and forensic science experts? As a forensic scientist, you have to explain very detailed, complex scientific ideas to people who don't have the same education, training, experience that you do. For any case, no matter how experienced you are, you always want to prep with whoever's calling you to testify. You want to go over questions that they might ask, the work that you did, any sort of errors that you might have made, you want to get that out in the open right away. Also, explain any sort of limits to the analysis that you did. Eventually, when you get to court, your testimony should be simple enough that the jury understands it. I'd worked with an investigator once that was testifying, and he kept saying that he was using an ocular enhancement device. Eventually, the defense attorney asked, what's an ocular enhancement device? And he said, oh, a magnifying glass. Don't use big language, talk in simple terms. Toolkit Masobi, but how does forensic science solve murders that happened 50 years ago? Just because a case is old doesn't mean that we can't solve it. That evidence still exists, it still can be analyzed. Maybe back then, 50 years ago, we only processed that evidence with conventional fingerprint powder. But now we could pull that evidence from storage, we could do DNA analysis on it, we could do chemical development of fingerprints, and we could use a scanning electron microscope to look at that evidence at an atomic level, to look at micro traces of DNA. Every day in the news, we see cold cases, old cases being solved with new technology and advancements in forensic science. A good example of this would be the Golden State Killer case. You had a series of unsolved homicides and rapes that was eventually solved with new technology, that is forensic genetic genealogy. We were able to find out who a relative was of this killer. And from there, they're investigating.
I think he's referencing the Golden State Killer, which was a case that I was particularly interested in before he was caught. And then I was doubly interested in how he was caught because he was caught via familial DNA, where like some second or third cousin of his had done like one of those, like not like 23andMe, but like one of like the offshoots where it's like a little less, you know, copacetic. And they had some suspicion of this guy. Basically, they were able to like kind of sort through it a little bit and ended up finding the Golden State Killer. I think it's fascinating how new technology can solve old cases just thanks to the old evidence still existing. No, exactly. That's why there's been, I believe her name is Amanda as well, one of the women that was on the all-women space expedition via Amazon and all of that. She missed out on her chance initially to go into the space program, my understanding, because she had been assaulted while at school, and she wanted to hold off on pressing charges so that she could finish her studies. She was like, I'm not letting this person take my school from me, basically. And they were like, if you do that, your rape kit, your evidence will be destroyed. And so she fought to try and get the laws changed to make it so that the evidence was not destroyed.
Was just old-fashioned gumshoe work. They identified the suspect, who at one time was a police officer, and eventually they wound up with a tissue that had his DNA that matched all these different crime scenes. Lisa Love asks, how are the bodies in the dead marshes so well preserved?
Oh,
so what Lisa's referring
like
to
the bog bodies.
Moss bogs in northern Europe, where
bog bodies.
Bodies that are preserved for thousands of years, and some of them are really amazing condition. Normally when you die, there's a process that happens. Whatever the surrounding temperature is,
So
your
fascinated
body
by
temperature
bog
will match
bodies.
that, and that's called algor mortis. Also, because your blood is no longer circulating in your blood system, gravity is going to pull it down, and then what we see is what's called liver mortis or lividity. Also, because the chemical changes in your muscles, they will temporarily stiffen, and this is called rigor mortis. Besides these processes, we have autolysis, the destruction of cells after they die. You'll see things like skin slippage, your skin will darken, and your cells will continue to break down, liquefy to the point where after a period of time, you'll become a skeleton. So in Northern Europe, these peat moss bogs are actually a perfect environment to preserve a body. They have very little oxygen, and they're very acidic. Bacteria in these environments can't grow, and the body winds up being pickled. Years ago, I was involved in a case. A woman recalled her stepfather burying a body in her backyard. 40 years later, we go to that backyard, we dig up the exact location where she said the body was buried, and we find in a plastic garbage bag this body. And the body was really well preserved. It still had its flesh on it after 40 years. So sometimes you just get that right amount of bacteria or no bacteria inside of an environment, and that body becomes preserved.
Accidental bog body.
Jammer. Is there money in forensics? Asking for a friend. If you're getting into forensics for the money, I would suggest pick a different career. It's not because you'll be poor, it's just that it's hard work. It's a difficult job to do. You got to spend hours looking.
Don't get into it for the money. Okay, you guys have the option of the time we asked Carl Sagan to nuke the moon. It's from Kyle. Kyle Hill, for those who don't know. We joke that he's a friend of the channel, even though he has no idea we exist. We've got, let's see. I don't want to just do Kyle videos. Ooh, former cult member answers cult questions. That's kind of scary. Not necessarily science, but you know. We've got, what else? I'll go back for different science videos. Not a ton of science here. There's more of the question videos, but former cult. Do they still use methane probes or do they use Nogs Dow? Both is my understanding. Cult. Okay. Former cult. Where'd she go? All right.
Who has experienced?
This is from 3 years ago, and this is Dr. Jonna Lalick. I'm a sociologist who used to be in a cult.
Escaping from a cult? Well, at Hams 007, many people have escaped from cults, and I'm happy to say that I'm one of them. Hi, I'm Dr. Jonna Lalick. I was once in a cult. Now I'm a sociologist who studies and writes about cults. Today, I'm here to answer your questions on Twitter. This is Cult Support.
Cult Support.
At Airy the Fairy asked, how did Charles Manson even get a cult? Like, ew. Well, at Airy the Fairy, here he is, Charles Manson, and he was a very successful cult leader because at the time, which was the hippie days of the 60s and 70s, you know, people were exploring, they were doing new things, they were living in the streets. Charles could come along and he had a very Svengali, charismatic appeal. He would look in your eyes and he would draw you in. And also what's important about what Manson did
The
was that he used
podcastologies,
drugs.
and I love it.
He would often, you know, give one of the girls LSD and she would believe that she had some kind of, you know, enlightened spiritual experience. And that way she felt even more bonded to Charles. But that is unusual. Most cults do not use drugs. They don't need to use drugs. They're using basic social psychology. At my opinion,
A lot often use high sugar diets with like very low protein because you can't think normally when you like aren't getting proper nutrients.
Man asks, what's a movie about cults that in your opinion
Ooh,
is a must
good
watch?
questions.
Working on something regarding cults and movies, and I'm trying to grab every last hidden gem. At My Opinions Man, I would say, in my opinion, the best movie about cults is The Master with Joaquin Phoenix. It's one of the best depictions of the relationship between the charismatic leader and the true believer. And it's a very tightly knit relationship that has an imbalance of power because the one with charisma has power over you, and that's the rub. So
Caitlin
that
Doty.
person can pretty much get you.
Why do I know the name Caitlin Doty? Oh, yeah, I've read her book. I read her book in school. I read her book. I knew who she was prior to knowing she was a content creator. Yes. No, I do follow her on Twitter.
You to do anything so that you get to the point where you think you can't even live without that person. And of course,
Chat, one thing you need to know about me, I'm horrible with names. It's definitely my rudest quality. Like, I have watched her videos. I have read her book, at least the first one. Her book, Smoke Gets in Your Eyes. I remember that. I remember the first chapter about a pink razor and how that was her first day. She was handed a pink plastic razor and told to shave a corpse to prepare it for a funeral. I remember that. I could not tell you her name off the dome for the life of me. My memory is weird.
this is doubly interesting because Joaquin Phoenix himself grew up in a cult. At Well-Read Wife asks, be honest with me before I get sucked in. Is LuLaRoe a cult? Are we just buying our cute cult uniforms? LuLaRoe is quite a questionable retail organization.
It's an
at
MLM
this point,
chat.
and I don't
She
think
has
you want to
multiple
wear
now,
that
yeah.
uniform. At Beanie Blover asks, why do cult leaders always have to be weirdo freaks that abuse their members? When will we see a cult leader who's really just a chill guy? Cult leaders are not going to be chill. Cult leaders are power-hungry individuals who are typically narcissists who believe that the world revolves around them. They aren't necessarily weirdo freaks. Some of them may look like a classy businessman. Remember the leader of Heaven's Gate? This is what he looked like when we saw him on those video clips the night before they all committed suicide. But this is not what Marshall Applewhite looked like when he was recruiting followers. He kind of had that professorial look, or like your nice uncle. The cult leader might become a little demented, might start using too many drugs, might start looking really weird. But they certainly don't start out that way.
They're
Because
not
who
going
would
to be
follow
chill.
a weirdo? At Marina C asks, I'm intrigued by the Heaven's Gate cult. Why the Nike shoes? There was a complete lack of individuality in the Heaven's Gate
Which is
cult.
say the similarities
People
between
had
cults
to
and
dress
MLMs. There's
in a
some
way that they
crossover.
were
Congratulations, there is a book for that. If you ever want to read Cultish by Amanda Montell, she also has the Cultist podcast. She did write a book about it, but she talks about various cults and cults of personality, cults of like subcultures and things like that. She talked about a bunch of different cults of subcultures, like the cult of CrossFit as it exists here in Los Angeles. Her father grew up in a cult and things like that. So Cultish, I think, is a good book. I liked that one. I actually own it. It's downstairs. But yeah, there's a lot of crossover.
completely androgynous. So they wore what they considered was their uniform. Everyone had the same patch on their sleeve. They all went out and bought these Nike shoes. It was just part of their outfit. There was certainly no special meaning to it. But again, it was a way to make them all be exactly the same so that they all went along with the idea that they would drink that poisonous potion, put the bag over their head, and go to their homeland. They didn't believe they were committing suicide. They thought they were choosing life. In fact, let me read you from, this is one of their books. It's called Ruffles, Snacks for Thinkers. This book was given to me by Dick Jocelyn, who was one of the longtime members of the group. It's dated July 7th, 19...
I want to read it so fucking badly, chat. Hey, Yana, can I read? Can I loan it? Can I sit with you while I read it? Can I see it?
1979, and they all contributed little sayings to this book. Life is not a time to prepare for death. Death is a time to prepare for life. Life is a time for learning to live like the one who came to show us how. They believed that they were going to be picked up by a spaceship and taken to what they called the level above human, where they were going to live forever in a paradise, and the rest of the world and the earth was just going to be shattered and destroyed.
I want to read it.
Tone Boy asks, neighbors on our street are trying to barricade themselves in. Are the Branch Davidians still a thing? If so, do they have a Twitter account, or do I go straight to the FBI? We have kind of a policy in our country of not paying too much attention to what the neighbors do. And one of the fallouts of that is sometimes we do have a cult next door. There are still people who believe in David Koresh and who actually think he's coming back. I don't think those are your neighbors. Maybe your neighbors are just trying to get away from the world. Maybe they don't like you. Freeforms are...
Have you considered it's your vibes? Have you considered it's your vibes?
Power House asks, who are the Moonies? The Moonies are the Moon organization that was founded by Reverend Sung Myung Moon back in the 70s and had a very huge following all around the world. They were probably best known for those mass weddings that they would have, like in Madison Square Garden. He has since passed away, and now there are 3 splinter groups started by his wife and the 3 sons. And some of those groups are quite active, especially the one in America that's run by Sean Moon, and he wears a crown of bullets, as do some of the other followers. Reverend Moon was quite friendly with George Bush, Daddy Bush, and his wife, who used
Daddy
to attend some of their gatherings. At Boomerbats asked, I wonder, do cult members join when they are at the brink of insanity? Or are they already mentally ill? Or are they perfectly functioning humans that were casually looking for a new set of beliefs to follow and later on
It's
lost
a
their
bunch of
sanity
different
in
things.
the process? Oh, at Boomerbats, I get this question
you for following.
so often. You know, people have the idea that the people who get into cults have some kind of mental problems, and that's absolutely not the case. First of all, cults want to recruit high-functioning individuals. They want people with money, and they want people with connections. They want you to be a good worker. They want you to work very hard. Cult leaders don't work very much. They're usually pretty lazy. So everyone else has to keep the show going. You know, cults aren't going to take care of you. You're there to take care of them. So they're looking for the kind of person who can perform for them, who can bring in good contacts that will lend legitimacy to the group. Now, while you're in the cult, you may develop all kinds of anxiety and panic attacks because of the stress of what you're living under. But it's good, idealistic people who get into cults. They think they're going to change the world or do something important in life, and then they're taken advantage of. At Sarah is
fully.
Sky Blue asks, what defines a cult? Pretty sure you could call anything a cult. First of
Hi,
all,
cult.
we have the leader, who is charismatic and usually a narcissist. Second,
I don't think she said what cult she was in yet. I'm sure she'll get there at some point, but she did not say which cult she was in. I don't think.
we have what I call the transcendent belief system that gives you the answer to everything. Third are what I call
I don't give you
systems of
that.
control. Things like what you should wear, what you should eat,
I
who
don't
you
care.
can marry, how many kids you should have or shouldn't have. And fourth is the systems of influence.
Hi,
the cult will
sisters.
be playing on
That's
fear,
crazy.
love, grief, whatever your emotions are to get
Okay,
you
hang
to
on.
comply and conform.
Okay, charismatic leader. Ka-chow, ladies. Transcendent belief system. Ask questions. Don't be weird. Systems of control. I have a mod that runs the chat that may have let their cat run the chat for a time. So I don't know. We've got IE rules. I mean, we have rules. Don't be a dickhead. That's kind of the rule. Don't be weird. Systems of influence that play on emotion state you to conform. I really don't be weird. Like, that's the basics. Don't be weird with me. Ask questions. Be nosy. Do things alone. If anything, I'm an anti-cult leader because I literally encourage y'all to go out and experience life and like talk to people. I'm a really shitty cult leader if like that's my basic philosophy. No AI, I assume. Oh yeah.
Form. At Leo
Are we a
Nakuz
cult, dear
asks,
leader?
How do you leave a cult? Asking for a friend. Well, Leo Nakuz, here's what I think you should tell your friend. It's not easy to leave a cult. It's one of the hardest things someone's ever going to do.
Oh,
and
this
the
might be
most
the story.
important thing
This might be the story.
is for those of us on the outside to be that safe haven. Let the person know that you're a place that they can come to whenever they want. They can sleep if they want to sleep. They don't have to talk. So it's just a matter of having some resources on the outside.
Come on, tell us what
that
court
may
you
help
were
you
in.
to build a new life. At Onsider asks,
Okay, if she doesn't tell us, chat, I will be looking up what cult she was in.
what types of cults are illegal according
Don't
to
be a
US
shithead.
law? It's not the cults per se that are illegal, it's what they do. So in order to hold some group accountable, you have to have enough evidence of some kind of criminal activity so that law enforcement might get involved. Many cults will become a religion and hope that they can hide behind the First Amendment. At Lectural asks, I couldn't help but wonder, when does a cult become a religion, and when does a religion become a cult? First of all, not every religion becomes a cult, and not every cult
nosy.
becomes a religion. Cults can be any type
Sacrifices,
of
I
belief
guess.
system. It doesn't have anything to do with religion at all. It can be New Age, it can be some kind of philosophy. A religion may have guidelines for you to live by, like be a good person, be kind to your neighbor, don't use contraception. But in most cases,
Please wrap it before you tap it here at the Swell Entertainment Cult chat. Please use contraception. They're not. Please wrap it. Please use contraception. If you want to get an IUD, if you want to do Nexplanon, do you? But please use contraception. Be smart. Be safe.
people from that religion aren't coming into your bedroom at night to see if you're using contraception. So that's one of the main differences between a cult and a religion. In a religion, you should have freedom and independent thinking. AtHams007 asks, who has experienced escaping from a cult? Well, AtHams007,
Here we go. Story time.
many people have escaped from cults,
Story
and
time.
I'm happy to say that I'm one of them. I was in a political cult. It was left-wing, and we were planning and hoping to make the revolution. We actually didn't think it would happen in our lifetime.
Ooh, wait. Which one do you think it is? I'm guessing. Ooh, okay. Wait, what was the one that no babies in this cult? Which? God. Oh my God. Which one was the one? Which one was the one that Hearst was in? Was that classified as left wing technically? I can't remember. No, I know. I'm thinking. No, a lot of like pro-revolution cults are deemed left-wing. Chat. Let's see. Research skill you can have is being a nosy bitch who wants to find out. Yes, I know that. It's funny, Kapora. I was there when that quote was said. I was there. That was at DashCon 2. Symbionese Elimination Army. Would that count? Could that be it? Would that classify as a cult? I guess it would be no. The Weatherman? I don't know. Let's find out. Let's see.
We saw
watched
ourselves
the
as
stream.
martyrs for the cause. But what happened is, after about 10 and a half years, everyone was so burned out. Some of us in leadership realized how corrupt the leader was and just taking advantage
So you were a leader.
of us. So we called together everybody.
70s,
and we
my
told them
guess?
what was going on, and we had a vote, and we unanimously voted
Democratic
to
Workers' Party.
expel her and to dissolve the organization. And so everyone got out. It was wonderful. That's absolutely not a common scenario. I can think of maybe one, perhaps
I want the name. Hang on. Dr. Jana Lalich Colt. She's the daughter of Serbian immigrants. Born in 1945. The Democratic Workers' Party. Yeah, looked it up. You're right. Which she later came to view as a cult. Lalich recalls that during her time in the group, she stored questions and doubts in the back of her mind, unable to express them. Lalich became a high-ranking member of the group, working long hours with little contact outside the immediate members. She claims that ex-members were harassed and attacked, and that she felt increasingly threatened. Eventually, the group dissolved, and she was able to leave.
two other groups that ended in that way. @JossX asks, how do cults even happen? Like, people really be letting themselves be brainwashed like that? So, @JossX, let me explain how this works. We all have days when we don't feel so great, or maybe we just moved to a new town, or maybe we just got divorced, or maybe our dog just died. And at that point, we hear a person up there who's giving us some kind of pitch that's going to change your life. Now, that pitch has to appeal to you. It's not going to appeal to everybody. You know, I always say I never would have joined a meditation group because I can't sit still that long. But a political group that was going to change the world, well, that sounded fantastic to me, right? And then you make that commitment. And often that commitment is made in front of other people. In my group, we had to stand up and make a pledge that we were going to do this for the rest of our life. People don't get brainwashed overnight. This is a
HOA is a
re-socialization
cult?
process.
Yes.
It's changing you to be the person that they want you to be the good, conforming, complying cult member who will go out and recruit other people and do the work for the cult. @NickLore asks, why do cults always have everyone wear the same outfit?
Oh, speaking of that, especially, so Nixium is one that gets talked about a lot, obviously, here in LA because it was very prevalent and growing here in LA and it got a lot of actors. So in my acting class, it wasn't uncommon, at least probably once a quarter, that my acting teacher would bring up Nixium and talk about how important it is to not be desperate to break into the industry because it can be leave you susceptible to, you know, being preyed upon by groups like this. And she said, she was like, I don't think I've ever had anyone in the classes that was like recruiting, because I believe a few of them were going to acting classes and trying to recruit people from acting classes. She was always pretty good about having people audition and try out and things like that, and screening out any weird behavior. But it's one of those things where she was always very clear about, like, you can't be desperate because that is one of the ways that you can get taken advantage of in this industry. Obviously things can happen, but she was adamant about that, basically. Thank you for following. But the Church of the Flying Spaghetti Monster told me I am an individual. I am not just a drone in the church. The spaghetti cult leader told me I should wear pots on my feet like shoes. Is that controlling? No, absolutely not.
Outfit. Well, at Nick Lore, not every cult does that. The Rajneesh cult back in the day, where everyone had to wear orange, some shade of orange. Here,
Thank you
for
for following.
example, is a group where everyone's dressed the same. The reason they do that is to break down your sense
Is that actually Stonehenge behind them?
of self. If everyone looks alike, there's no individuality.
So we gonna talk about how the military is low-key a cult? We gonna talk about that? Because, like, that's a cult tactic, and I'm just saying, like, the military similarly strips you down of, like, all individuality as well. Most Pastafarians are benevolent and humanist in nature. Perhaps you encountered some bad apples. Pastafarians, God. This want you to feel closer to Mother Earth. No wonder all schools in Peru wear uniforms. Everything is low-key a cult. The military is definitely a cult. Military cult, MAGA cult, ICE cult. The military is high-key a cult. I mean, we can talk about as well, like, you guys know I'm a leftist, you know, but, like, I think that the online digital leftist, like, concept is breaching into cult territory where, like, if you don't agree with everyone 100% of the time, like, there is that level of, are you leftist enough, essentially? And we do see, you know, the pushback of that. Now, again, someone pushes back at me, my leftism is, you know, rooted in empathy and my upbringing and the like, and my own lived experiences. And so someone screaming at me because I said the wrong thing one time is not going to make me go full Republican. So I'm not going to sit here and be like, I can see this happening, because I see people bring that up and it's like, oh, this is why people turn to the right. I disagree. I don't think that's fully what it is. I think people turn to a right-wing grift because it is easier to make money from the right. It's one thing to go full hardcore and start peddling hate. That's just someone that I think was always, like, had very flimsy beliefs, and it's just like, who's going to make me money type of thing. That's my personal opinion. But, you know, I can see where the discussion around it turns into cult-like behavior, if that makes sense. Universities has this old traditions for their version of clubs that gets very culty very fast. It creeped me out. We can talk about sororities being cults and, like, cult-like tactics and things like that to, like, protect the letters and all of that. Like, sororities, frats, all of that. What they call themselves, by the way. Big pastas and want you to connect to your fellow pastafarians. Is anyone on the YouTube side chatting or no? I just want to make sure I'm not missing chats. Hang on. Okay, no, it's just null from a while ago. Okay, I just want to make sure I wasn't missing any chats in chat.
Among you, and it's an easy way to get you to conform and comply to the demands of the group. At
It's very much
Clover
cult-like,
DC
yeah.
asked, why were cults so big in the 70s, y'all? I'll never get it.
Pre-socials. I wonder if Christian schools can be classified as a cult. So the freedom of individuality is, as she described it, is an element of religion. Like, you do have freedom and, you know, within the belief system of the, you know, religion itself. But different institutions within a religion, I do think, can breach into cult territory, you know? Yeah, chat here is pretty dead. Yeah, I'm noticing that.
The 70s,
It's a very unfollowed side of my content, I should say.
of course, were a very special time.
If we went live on the YouTube page, anal, like for Swell Entertainment, there would easily be 1,000 people minimum in chat, which I find excessive.
And New Age ideas were taking hold, and of course, that was a time
my
when
head
there were
instead of
many
my feet.
communes, and so people were living together, and that can be a breeding ground for a cult to take hold if you have someone who wants
Maybe we need to bring
power
back
and takes
communes.
advantage of that environment. The 70s was also a time when there were a lot of political cults. It was the end of the Vietnam War era, and so people on the left were looking for something to do, and a lot of these little groups got started. You may remember this one, Patricia Hearst, who was kidnapped by the Symbionese Liberation Army. This is her after her indoctrination, where she took the name Tanya and went along to rob
Felt
some
kind of awkward
banks,
being the only
including
one
the
chatting, so I've
Hibernia
just kind of
Bank in
stopped so I
San
didn't seem needy.
Francisco.
You're fine.
At Mob Mom
On this
asks,
chat, I can't tell
how
who
did
the
Jim
only one.
Jones even establish Jonestown?
I just wanted to make sure I didn't get
Seems
disconnected.
unreal. Here we have Jim Jones, who was a pastor who had a huge following. So Jones had a very
On your main,
lively,
they got
quite
busy, yeah.
large church in San Francisco, where he did faith healing and other things, and had very loyal followers. One of the local newspapers
the chill
was going to
stream.
write an expose about him. And so he had already been sort of planning for this and had already bought land in Guyana. So he told all his followers
a
to go
baddie.
there. And so everyone
dog.
went there, 900 and some people.
At least once a
and
stream, I
that's
feel
where
like
the
you strike.
tragedy happened. He took away their passports.
The Wild Country
so even if
docuseries
you wanted
forever
to leave,
ago
you
I
couldn't
did.
leave. The children were brutally punished, sometimes hung upside down in
Jeez.
wells. So people were afraid. They were afraid for their life, and they were in the middle of nowhere. Eventually, an investigation was called, and a congressman from California came to investigate. Jones had them murdered. The poisoned Flavor Aid, which is commonly called Kool-Aid now, was made, and people were forced to take that. The children were injected first. And in the end, there was the mass suicide murder that happened. Of 913 people died and over 200 children. At Commandatory asks, why does Peloton feel like a cult? It may feel like a cult because you're sweating so much, but also there's a sense of accomplishment, a sense of belonging. You're with other people who are also doing Peloton, and that feels really good. Of course, it's important to recognize that the fitness industry has quite a few groups that are quite cult-like, so it's important to check out what you're doing and be a good consumer. At Userbits asks, how did #Nexium become a cult? Imagine hoping to buy a timeshare or brush up your personal skills and getting sucked into sex trafficking. Well, Keith Raniere was a con artist, and he was skilled at setting up sort of pyramid schemes. Nexium started out as a kind of multi-level marketing program where people would take these courses and then be expected to recruit other people into these courses. Some of them were encouraged to move to Albany, New York, where the headquarters was, and people set up centers in different cities around the country. Keith, of course, was a pedophile and a sadist, so he set up kind of a cult within the cult, which was called DAS, where each woman had a certain number of people below her. They were to recruit other people into this. But the real purpose of it
MLM
was to
style.
feed women to Raniere for sex. The other part of it was that he liked really skinny women, and so these women were told to be on a 500-calorie-a-day diet. And they were just becoming completely emaciated. They were no longer having their menstrual periods, their hair was falling out. It was absolutely brutal. Fortunately, some people worked very hard to blow the whistle on this, and happily, Keith Raniere is now in prison for 120 years. At Matt Griffith asks, what kind of cults are people who sell hair products on Instagram a part of? I'm not sure what you're specifically referring to, Matt Griffith, but there are certainly a lot of cults.
Yeah, Nexium is the cult that I mentioned earlier, chat. That's the one that, like, an actress, there was quite a lot of high-profile people involved in Nexium. I think the most well-known one is the actress who was on the show Smallville. She was the blonde who played, God, what was her name? But she, I think, is one of the one of the more high-profile people that was involved. But they got heiresses, they got people that were very wealthy to be involved. And some actors that, like, knew the actress from Smallville and stuff. Yeah, she was the lead. Well, that was the thing. They all were. She was high up because she could refer a lot of people. That's how it all works. All the women that like fit her description were basically with the leader, if that makes sense. But she was recognizable to some degree, and so she was able to refer a lot of people to him. But there's quite a few people that were like pursuing acting as well, which is why my teacher would regularly bring up Nixium.
Cults and cult-like gurips within the wellness industry,
Alison
selling
Mack,
all
yes.
kinds of products and potions and things to make you feel better.
Yeah,
At
I agree.
Jessica Evans asked, serious.
But also, Scientology is losing. For those who don't know, my dad's one rule for me when I started doing YouTube videos and commentary was that I'm never allowed to make any form of video about or relating to Scientology because he has dealt with how dangerous they can be when you are on their receiving end. So that's my dad's one rule for me, is I'm not supposed to talk about Scientology publicly. However, Scientology, it's been speculated, is actually losing power because because of social media, it's so well known, like the behaviors of Scientology and like what they do to members, that a lot of people, they're having trouble with recruitment currently. So I don't know how long it can last long term, because obviously there's quite a few lifers in there. And the methodology, the messaging works for a lot of people. But yeah, I don't know if I think in my lifetime we could potentially see the end of Scientology. What did he do to get on their bad side? Ex-member. He did not get on their bad side. Before my parents divorced and sold our house, there was a office down the street from us that was a Scientologist satellite office, and we would see them out and about outside all the time. And my parents were always just like, "Do not talk to them," respectfully. I don't know why exactly they were like so aware of like everything with it, but when they ended up shutting down that satellite office and selling the building, it was then rented out to a clinic. Okay, it's going to be a clinic. So while they were renovating, they found bugs, as in listening devices, inside one of the walls that they like had knocked down. It was a non-load bearing wall. And so they were like, it wasn't seemingly connected to anything, but they didn't know. So they ended up, I think, having to rip out all the internal walls of the building and like doing a whole lot more construction than they expected, because since it was going to be a medical clinic and because of HIPAA, they couldn't risk any information being released or recorded without their knowledge or consent. So they ended up ripping everything out. To be certain, I believe they found a total of like 4 or 5 bugs, but I don't know, because it was something that happened when I was a kid, and it was like never like properly reported, is my understanding, because it was one of those things where it's like my dad was in construction, so he like knew people that were working on the building and things like that. The other thing that my dad told me, because my dad was in construction, like I said, and when you work in construction, if anyone knows, if you're like higher up at the construction spots, you can get sued a lot. Sometimes it's nonsense lawsuits, like people just not wanting to pay for the work that you've done and things like that, or you said it would look like this, it doesn't look exactly like what's in my brain, things like that. Well, at one point, apparently my dad and his lawyer went to another lawyer's office to like do paperwork or something. I don't fucking know. I don't know the details. But the guy's office had been destroyed, fucking thrashed. And he's like cleaning up as my dad and his lawyer are walking in. And they're like, "Whoa, what the fuck happened?" It's like, "Oh, I have a different case. I'm representing someone against Scientology. And it looks like they broke in and like were looking for files or potentially left something." And that ended up I think they ended up settling that lawsuit against my dad's like construction company, because they were like, "Well, how do we know our information is safe? Like you didn't have security at the building." So basically it was, I heard many stories of the moment they see you as a threat in any capacity, you could be in trouble potentially, or at least they will do shit like break into your office, and he didn't want me to deal with that. Plus, since I was going to move to LA and he knew that was always a possibility, Scientology is a very prevalent existence out here in LA. My old apartment, I was down the street from the big blue Scientology building. So always goes there to harass the building, LOL. My cats just went on a chaos spree. Holy shit. Yeah, sorry, Sparkly. What did he do to get on their bad side? see the one person on Instagram that daily trolls Scientology building in Hollywood. Yep. Is Tom Cruise still in it? I believe so. That would be, but he's like disillusioned with it a lot. Like a lot of these celebrities, and that was what got God, who was the woman that was on King of the Hill? What was her name? I'm blanking. Oh, Leah Remini. The reason that she left was because she was a true believer. If I'm remembering the story correctly, she was kind of a true believer, but she witnessed like the lax members like Tom Cruise and the like, and that really bothered her because she would then go and be like, they're not true believers, like they're not, and that got her backlash, and so she was like, whoa, was all of this kind of bullshit? And then she dealt with all the abuse that ends up going through with the process of leaving and things like that. I believe some of that, I don't know how accurate my recollection is. It's been a few years since I remember hearing this. I would rip it all out too. It sounds like a nightmare. It's just okay. Is she starting a cult? There's a guy who always there to harass the building, LOL. I've heard they have a pretty extensive harassment stalking scheme to silence whistleblowers and attempts to spread awareness about what predatory abusive they are. I'm not even a public figure, and I don't like to talk about them. Oh my God. Are we completely sure that Jessica's okay? She sounds very interested in how cults start. I feel like a lot of people are interested. This is that Tom Cruise video that they keep trying to take it down, but the internet remembers. Not King of the Hill, it was King of Queens, yes. Leah was on Koth. Also, I heard, King of Queens, not King of the Hill. I heard the niece of the leader of Scientology just got a TikTok like a couple of months ago. Yep. Tom Cruise has completely turned his image around. It's absolutely wild. People I know in the business frequently call him the King of Los Angeles. Jessica has just reminded me to join her cult. Gosh, I joined the South Park episode about them. Definitely didn't help them. Yeah, you know, and I think that's the ongoing thing with the social media things, which is, it's one of the reasons, chat, I think that like the Gavin Newsom tactic of trolling Trump was working. Obviously now everything has happened, okay, which I'm even choosing my words more carefully now than others because they're targeting fucking anyone that talks about you know who. So I'm once again playing the shut the fuck up game, but like the mocking of Trump that Gavin Newsom was doing on his socials was working because at the end of the day, mocking people like the South Park episode, like you mentioned, but also just kind of pointing out like, yeah, this is what you sound like. Like, forget you. Sometimes you can't logic with people, you know? Like, I've tried, because I used to go to a Kaiser Permanente in Hollywood that the Scientology recruits would stand outside of it every time because they know, oh, you're in pain, you're dealing with something. Let's talk about Dianetics, you know? And I would push back and ration with them, and they would just like, it's all rehearsed. They're not listening to me. They're just talking. And I'm like, okay, there's no point in trying to reason with these fucking people. I'm going to walk away now, you know? Like, that is sometimes the option. Like, it's very hard to get people out of a group that's already in the group. You know what I'm saying?
Serious question. How many people
How long ago did I pause this? They doxed my high school math teacher because she made a post about Kirk not being a good guy. Yeah, see, I'm playing the shut the fuck up game. I don't want guns on college campuses. That's my official statement, chat. I don't want students being afraid to go to school. That's my official statement, and that's all. And I have unfollowed a handful of people. Not a lot, but a handful that I did not realize who they were following. Don't want to hear what they sound like, and they'll hear what they are saying. Yeah.
does it take to form a cult? Can a cult be just two people? Yes,
sorry.
Jessica Evans. A cult can be just two people, and I call those one-on-one cults. And we see a great deal of those.
One-on-one
these
cults?
days. People are becoming more aware of practices like gaslighting and what happens when a person has that kind of control over you. So a cult can be any size, from thousands of members to just two. At uncovering...
I feel like, I don't know how I feel about painting potentially abusive relationships or abusive friendships as cults in this context. Because I feel like that almost memifies the abuse, if that makes sense. Does that make sense? Am I explaining that right? I don't know if I am. Because I do think there are definitely friend groups that have cult-like tendencies, you know. But I feel like calling it a one-on-one cult almost seems to like not stigmatize the, you know, like I'm trying to think of the right wording here. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like that could, I don't know how I feel about that.
The Truth asks, when do cult members realize they're in a cult? Well, this, of course, is what I always hope for, that someone will realize they're in a cult and then try to figure out how to get out. I think everyone in a cult has doubts, and those doubts, you know, they're not able to express them. So people have these doubts, and the way I see it,
Donald Trump administration has ordered the removal of all exhibits, signs related to slavery at numerous national parks. It's almost like, okay, it's almost like, you know how there's, in ancient Egypt, okay, there were pharaohs that did shit that other pharaohs didn't like. And so a lot of pharaohs would order the destruction of previous monuments and documentation about previous pharaohs, okay? And so then, like, it borderline erased them. Same with Anne Boleyn, okay? Once Anne Boleyn was beheaded, pretty much most of the changes that she made to the castle, etc., were erased, aside from, I think there's like one thing in the molding where it still shows like Anne and Henry, like an H and an A. That's the only remnant of her within the walls itself. Does he think that that's what we're doing when he covers shit like this? People know, it's almost like he thinks that's possible. You know what I'm saying? Like, if we just get rid of all the evidence of what we use to mark and, you know, memorialize the horrible history of our country, we'll forget that it happened. Does he believe that? Or that it'll be lost to time, that people don't remember, that independent archivists don't exist? If it isn't there, it's not real. God. Like, from how history happened, it will repeat itself. I wonder what this means. I mean, we do have reminders. There are people, the man, so the viral photo it's a historical photo, I should say, of that one man who is taking a drink from a whites-only water fountain during segregation time. He walked in Fashion Week. That man. He's older now, obviously. But he walked in Fashion Week wearing a shirt with that photo on it. Taking selfies for the crowd. Okay? Because it wasn't that fucking long ago. Ruby, the first girl to desegregate schools, I believe in the South, right? I'm blanking on Ruby Bridges. Yes, I'm getting this right. Hold on. No. Pause. We're checking. Hold on. Yes. Yep. Ruby Bridges. I was right. Okay. This little girl just had her birthday. Okay. She's alive. This was not that long ago. She is 71 years old. Thank you for following. Always throws people off. Yeah, no, they purposely do that. It's purposely put in black and white. I think he does believe that. Maybe gives permission for people who feel uncomfortable around those conversations to forget, and forgetting becomes correct, if that makes sense. I hear what you're saying. I don't like it. You know, I find it abhorrent. You know, but it's one of those things where I'm like, okay, so you're trying... the right's not racist, but then we're doing shit like this, you know? Like, I see a rock, I call it a rock. See a duck, call it a duck. See a racist act, call it racism. Like, one of my school teachers told me about how she dealt with, like, segregated times and how she got bullied because she was friends with a black girl. God. I mean, Dump and his dad were sued for racial discriminatory renting practices in NYC. I know it wasn't that long ago. 62 years ago, a church in Birmingham, Alabama was bombed and 20 people died. So there was also an evil racist man. Yeah.
As they kind of
Sorry, I saw that post chat. It like popped up on my tweets, and I was like, "We're talking about this."
put them on a shelf in the back of their head, right? And that shelf gets heavier and heavier. And hopefully at one point, the shelf
What I
gets
do tend to,
heavy
like,
enough
understand
that
their
it
perspective.
breaks. And at that moment, they'll realize that something's wrong. They may not identify it as a cult, but they think that this is not a group that's in their best interest, and they probably should think about leaving. At True Reflections asks, is it just me, or were cults more prevalent pre-internet social media?
I think they've rebranded. I mean, we obviously see this in social media times, but like there's 100% content creators that are running cult-like, you know, types of audiences. We've talked about this quite a bit. Like we see this, it's rebranding as parasocialism and things like that. You know, it's one of the reasons I'm very adamant about, like, I ask you guys to ask questions. Like, thank you for your support, but like if I do something fucked up that you guys think is fucked up, that's okay. Like, we can talk about it, you know? Like, I don't want it to be like, oh, Amanda's perfect and is on a pedestal all the time, because that I'm human. I will fuck up at some point. There will be things we disagree on, you know? And it would be crazy for me to be like, actually, fuck you for disagreeing with me. If you tell me my music taste is ass on TikTok, I will block you, but that's my prerogative. That's very different. Someone made fun of me on a TikTok comment. They were like, Amanda, you're not, I said, I called TikTok the clock app, and they commented, you're not a millennial, you can call it TikTok, so I blocked them. Plenty of YouTubers join cults nowadays, like Michelle Phan. They are in the open online. I mean, look at, you know, 9 Passengers, Ruby Frankie, you know, like that basically was seen as a cult recruiting tactic. Her videos, her vlogging, it's very encouraged in a lot of cults potentially. I'm only subscribing for your downfall. Thank you. Much appreciated. I'll sell t-shirts. You guys know, the moment I get a mugshot, anything, I'm making merch. You guys know. I had to listen to my coworkers have a argument yesterday about what makes someone racist, and if having a racist opinion is just an opinion or makes them racist. What? I'm sorry, that's a crazy statement. I don't want to ask, but I also really want to ask what the statement is. Like, were they arguing about a specific statement, or like whether or not one of them was racist? Prison collection merch would go so hard, yeah. It's basically a cult. We deserve this on a red snapback. Oh, God. Oh, God. What about a bucket hat? No, no, no.
Hashtag People Magazine investigates. Yes, there have always been cults. We can go back in history to the Roman Empire, to the Essenes, to the days of Jesus. It's a social human phenomenon that's always been with us. There certainly were a lot of cults pre-internet, but of course, as we see today, there are many, many cults that are operating.
See, I would do like a merch of like my mugshot, and it would be something like, I feel like it would be something really tame, or like what's probably most likely with what's going on currently. I'd probably be arrested at, like, let's say a protest or something. Like, it'll probably be something like that. Probably nothing. They'll probably trespass me, like something like that, like in line with what's currently going on. Like nothing crazy. I'm not robbing a bank, you know. And then I would like release it and be like, help me post bail, you know. And then I would like show you guys the Lambo I bought. You ever had a mugshot? I would send that into someone to give it the One Piece treatment. Oh my God. Could you do One Piece merch like that, or would they sue you?
On the internet. Certainly we saw this with QAnon and all the other kinds of conspiracy theories.
Currently
so,
unfolding
yes,
still.
There are cults before, and there will be cults again, and there are always cults. At Old Normality
Big old death
asks,
mask.
what do cult members do when the cult collapses? All that dedication to for absolutely nothing.
Hermes
when
in a
the
Sauber
cult
helmet
collapses, it's often
and a
quite
car, I would
tragic
buy
for
that.
the believers, because now that
So we watched a video from who was the cruise creator, chat? But she sells Hudson plushies, which is her cat, Captain Hudson, like a captain version of her cat, and donates the profits to a cruise line that like is like a charity cruise line that does like aid and like surgeries for people in Sierra Leone. And I really like the concept of doing a merch item that's like a plushie for Hermes or something, where like all profits, like I don't see a dime of that, all of that gets donated to various charitable initiatives. I really like that concept. So yeah, Emma Cruises, I think you're right. Goes hard. Yeah, I think something like we just do different versions of like little Hermes plushies, and like each one is for a different cause. Like I really like the idea of doing that. Because then that's like one thing where it's like, okay, maybe you don't want to give me money, but you want to like facilitate donations and things like that. It's your call. I think that would be something that I would really like to do in the future, potentially. Are you trying to say kafia? Is that what you're, I don't think that's how it's spelled, Temple Tam. I get what you're saying, because it's spelled kinetically. Yes? Okay, I'm 80% certain that's not how kafia is spelled. Someone out of Palestine, like Lindsay. Plushify me, replace blank with more of me. We'd have to facilitate. I have to look at that and see. Yes, kafia. Yes, I was like, I got what you meant, but I was like, I am 90% certain that's not how it's spelled. I'm gonna tell Capri. I'll be like, this is how someone spelled kafia in my chat. Because of some racist opinions he had about black pilots. Okay, like I said, I'm being extremely careful about what I've said, because someone was visited by the FBI because of a message they shared in a private chat. So you need to assume the FBI has access to your Discord messages, chat. Okay? Okay. That was not his only racist opinion for Charlie. He also believed that black women specifically were like basically subhuman and were completely unqualified for literally anything. Like he had numerous extremely racist opinions. I think that explicitly makes him a racist. Like he said abhorrent things about women, about minorities, about multiple different things. Wait, you stream here too? Samantha, hi. We are testing out duels. This is the first dual stream. We're trying it out. Will be bad because of their race is racist. Yes. He also said he thinks the 1960 Civil Rights Act was a mistake, which, yeah, pretty fucking racist. Yeah. Okay, again, we are not staying on this topic, not because I don't think it's a valid conversation to have, but because I don't want to be visited by an alphabet agency, and they are visiting people. Thank you. Okay. Not today. I hope you guys know my opinions on these things, because I feel like I've been very clear in other things. Let's go back to talking about the cult lady.
Their whole life is just falling apart, so they have to figure out, what do I do now?
Cult
People
video.
may drift away.
Yeah.
Splinter groups may start. Someone may try to take over and rise as the leader. And in some circumstances, there may have been a violent ending, as we saw with the Branch Davidians in Waco. But again, that kind of thing is usually the exception, and not every group is going to end that way. At Lowain,
I feel like she's not also, she's one of the things she's not talking about is like the Leah Remini side of things, where it's like the cult collapses because your view of the cult collapses. You know, like the cult still exists, but what you believe to be true collapsed. Like, it's not like you realized you were in a cult. What you thought was real collapsed. And so then you get out. You know what I'm saying? And not like you, like, we're like, wow, what we're doing is insane. It's like, whoa, I believed this, and this is what's actually happening. This is the reality of other people. You know what I'm saying? Moon. Be respectful of Jonna. This Yakult. Yakult. Damn Google coming for your ass. report subreddit where they compiled all the horrible things he said with the videos to back it up. That's why it was just a crazy conversation to listen to when the FBI bust down the door, but it's fine. I was streaming forever. I sub and use Twitch. Ooh, Colts, yay! Really love the YouTube stream. Okay, yay, cool. Yeah, welcome in, Paige. We're trying this out. We're playing this out. I see that it's kind of like low-key zoinking the quality, but the quality of this camera is already kind of ass. So, work in progress, respectfully. Oh, did you see this spiffing Brit John Hayes video discussing the YouTube views drop? It seems they are not counting ad blocked users anymore. Oh, interesting. Can I be honest with y'all, chat? I have been mostly silent about the views drop because my views are fucking killing it. I have not seen any of my normal September drops. So I don't know what the deal is. Thank you for following. I don't know what the deal is, but I'm doing great. So I've just been like, I don't know what y'all are talking about. You be safe though. I'm in a creator group chat and like 2 of us are having very normal views or even good views and the others are all suffering and we're just like, oh, so you guys are chopped? Sucks to suck. No, respectfully, we don't know. Like, I don't know what it is. It could hit me. Who knows? Tomorrow's video could be go either way. So we'll see. It's an event video, which, you know, sometimes up and down. Like, and I actually went to a thing. That's why. So we'll see. Big Algorithm is kind to you, not your friends. No, Big Algorithm absolutely normally hates me, but I've been on a pretty good uptick recently. Who knows, though? It's also, you guys, this time of year as well, views drop because it's school time. People are back in school, you know? So who knows?
Asks, do cult leaders know that they're cult leaders? Probably 99%.
Yeah.
Are con artists, and they know exactly what
Yeah.
they're doing. Some of them may eventually become delusional because they get away with so much
The drugs.
for so long, so they
The
kind of
drugs.
get carried away and actually think that they're God. But it's really a combination of that narcissism, and then perhaps they have a bit of sociopathy or psychopathy. But I think most of them are sitting back and laughing at their followers. So those are all the questions for today.
All right. I'm thinking another science video, but I'm going to exit out of this and go back because I want to get away from the Wired ones. No offense to the Wired people. When Amanda hits 600K, I'm asking for a raise. Valid. Okay, let's see. I met someone from the CIA over the weekend, chat. Not for the reason that you think he was retired, but I did meet someone from the CIA. And he was actually very, very charismatic, very chilled. He was very open to me and my friends' questions because we were like, we immediately have a bunch of questions. And he was like, he like sought us out again and was like, what other questions do you have? He was like very excited. Okay, do you want to see Radioactive Boy Scout? Okay, let's try Radioactive Boy Scout. The Nuclear Boy Scout. Okay, here's a 12-minute Nuclear Boy Scout. 13. All right, we're gonna go with this one. Fascinating Hoarder. Horror. All right, let's do. I'm gonna do Joe Scott. I'm gonna go with Joe Scott, chat. Because I haven't. Fascinating Horror, I don't know what they would show, and I don't know what the bit is. I joke, but 600K would be very sick and cool. Yeah, last year, chat, in 2024, I said, oh, if I hit 600K by 2025, I would waifu wrap my car, and then I didn't even hit 500K. It's PC only views that are dropping, but the CPM is still the same. It's very odd. I mean, get that coin. I have no idea what they're counting. We'll see. This is her Twitch overlay. It's just some kind of cute matching parts. The background is cute. Thank you. I got it off of Etsy like 2 years ago now, it feels like.
When I was a kid, like many young
I like the
boys,
bongo intro.
I was in the Boy Scouts. Being in the Boy Scouts
I've been the
was
wife
great.
rep. Matara asked if she could be considered. She wanted, she was like, can I submit to be the waifu rap? Matara Khan, for those of you who don't know, formerly of VShojo, currently of Independent. A few other creators were like, ooh, can I submit? How are we choosing waifu raps? And I was also going to use that as an excuse to like buy a new car as well. Like, because obviously once you publicly waifu wrap your car becomes very identifiable, which is obviously unsafe for me to drive regularly as someone who has dealt with stalkers. So I was going to use that as a justification to get a second car. And then I decided, actually, I have credit card debt. Maybe your followers graduated. A Matara car would be so fun. Yeah.
They teach you all about self-reliance and life skills, leadership skills, that kind of thing. It's a great program for any young person, any male young person, any straight male young person.
Oh, this is 6 years ago. There are girls in Boy Scouts. I believe they are classified as Adventure Scouts. There was multiple girls in my Girl Scout troop when I was in high school that were also in Boy Scouts of America simultaneously. I don't know why, because they didn't even like doing Girl Scouts. They hated campouts. I don't know why they did both when they actively hated doing it, but it is what it is.
I did enjoy the Boy Scouts, but I feel like kind of miss out on some things because the guy who ran our troop, the scout leader, his name was Mr. Dunnigan, and he was a great guy. He was like having Mr. Rogers as a scout leader, but he was old. He was like 87.
He's very soft-spoken.
He had tubes up his nose connected to an oxygen tank, and because
Could
this
be
was
that.
the 80s and safety hadn't been invented yet,
Mau
he
Mau car.
smoked while wearing it. Indoors. Around children. Every meeting had like a 50% chance of watching him turn into a human blowtorch. All of
Sorry,
that is to
hang
say
on.
that because he
Sorry, I thought I heard digging and I thought it was Hermes and it wasn't. But a lot of my neighbors are moving out or getting ready to move out because of the rent increases. So I think it might be my neighbors behind me because we're basically the way that our floor works is like these are our loft units and they connect on the top like this. God, and you think my rent increase is bad? One of my neighbors' rent increases, it's like the same amount, but it puts theirs like so high.
was so old, we actually didn't get to do a lot of camping. I only went on like a couple of camping trips the whole time that I was in the Scouts. But one of the trips that we went on, we had to actually like collect local water, like from a well or something like that. And at one point I went to go take a sip of it, and I was struck by how it smelled and tasted terrible. So I said something about it, and one of the older Scouts gave me this horrified look, and he was like, "Did you drink that water?" "Yeah." "Dude, that's sulfur water. You can't drink that." "What?" He called over one of the other guys. "Seriously, Chad, Joe drank sulfur water." "Oh my God." "Dude, how much did you drink?" "A lot." "Dude, you've got to throw up." "I don't want to throw up." "Dude, go ask Mr. Dunnigan. You are going to die if you don't throw up right now." "What?"
That would be effective in
So I
making me
ran to
freak the
Mr.
fuck out.
Dunnigan, tears streaming down my face. I told him I drank that water, and I asked him if he was going to die. And Mr. Dunnigan said, "Maybe in 100 years." All the guys started laughing, and I ran away crying. I mean, you know, it was pretty funny. They got me pretty good. I gotta say, it was really funny, and in no way scarred me for life. David Hahn was born in 1976 in Commerce Township, Michigan. He became a Boy Scout later on.
For a bedroom and
and
a 5-bedroom
then
apartment was higher than
became
my
a legend.
parents' house. Nevertheless, to say I'm moving out. Yeah.
Damn legend.
So for those of you that are just getting in, I got my lease offer late, okay, for my renewal for October, and I didn't like it. It would put my rent, my base rent before pet rent, before all of my other charges of living here, above that of the 2-bedroom, 2 bathrooms of my building. Okay, for the most part. There's only one other 2-bedroom, 2 bathroom that is on the market that would be equivalent, if not more. Okay, and I was like, that's bullshit. Hi, why am I being punished for being a good tenant when I know multiple people are moving out? And I sent them back a pitch, and it looks like they are going to meet in the middle. So rather than a $220 increase, it's somewhere around $100. Still a lot, but I got to decide what I want to do. I'm going to look around at a couple of other places in the area and see what the possibilities are. But the reality is because of my current debt, with my current credit score, I don't know. I would be approved, but I probably would be approved at like a higher rent or, you know, like a higher security deposit, which like I just don't want to deal with the stress of moving currently. So I'm willing to leave if need be, but we shall see what the deal is. But I'm gonna look around. Worst case scenario, I pay the extra $100 a month going forward, and this is just my last year here, you know. That nice Italian man and his friends get to drive in my pasture, but I get to race this time.
I have gotten so many requests from this story, and then once I looked into it, yeah, it's an amazing story, so I definitely am excited to do a video about it, but I have to give a quick disclaimer. This video is filled with really bad ideas and terrible life choices. Don't try any of this at home.
That's basically my channel, chat.
Or anywhere.
We'll know when your video
Okay,
background
so
changes.
growing
Yeah,
up,
exactly.
David was a bit of a mischievous kid, which is basically another way of saying he blew things up all the time. Typical young boy, you might say, but David was specifically obsessed by chemistry. He actually found an old book of his dad's called the Golden Book of Chemistry Experiments, and he set out to perform every single chemistry experiment in this book.
That's
the thing about this book, though, was that it was from the 50s, and things were just a little different back then. So instead of having, you know, a baking soda volcano, he had actual, like, beakers and Bunsen burners and explosive chemicals he was playing with. Explosive chemicals that blew up and destroyed his room so often that his parents eventually just kind of, like, pushed him down in the basement. By the way, there's going to be a lot of moments in this story where you're going to be like, where were his parents? So you can just be ready for that. So he was always doing different kinds of experiments, just playing with chemistry and doing things, and at one point he was actually had the goal of collecting every single element on the periodic table.
We talked about a guy in Australia that was arrested for trying to do this recently. He tried to have a radiated element delivered to his parents' home. It's like 22. I think he pled guilty. I don't remember. It was like 2 months ago was when it was discussed.
Now, along the way, he became really fascinated by radioactive material, and he followed the work of Marie Curie really closely. He was just like obsessed with it. And so, yeah, he was in the Boy Scouts. He eventually went after his Eagle Scout certification, and one of the merit badges that he chose to get was the Atomic Energy Merit Badge. That's actually...
Is it the pixelated witchy game, Anarchy? It's called Road to Empress, dear God. Okay, I'm looking it up. Hold on. Survival game. No, it's basically the Apothecary Diaries. Okay. Wow, so did he know she died? I went to a toy store in Vegas that has the radioactive toy kit. I played it yesterday and it caused me great sadness. Okay. Just imagine your Mau Mau, that's the game. I thought Apothecary Diaries was a nice romance series. False. Romance is a subplot of the Apothecary Diaries. Okay, Anarchy. I died to poison soup. I died to poison soup so much. Okay, well that's not really Mau Mau then. Mau Mau would just like be like, it's poison. Okay, I'm done screaming, play the game. Okay, we're watching the Radioactive Boy Scout video from Joe Scott first. Thank you, though. Much appreciated. Thank you for the recommendation.
A thing. And for the merit badge, he built a little model
Bye,
nuclear
Anarchy.
reactor. Now, this wasn't anywhere close to a real nuclear reactor.
I
He
bullied
used,
her into
bottles
making
and
the
pipes and
Apothecary,
stuff like
watching
that.
the
It was a
Apothecary Diaries
demonstration
chat.
to show how a nuclear reactor worked. But his obsession with radioactivity led him to get a little bit more ambitious, and he started trying to assemble an actual nuclear reactor. In order to do this, he had to get his hands on some radioactive materials.
I would say type of shit I would do, but I'm smart enough to not do that.
And in the beginning, all he had to do was go down to the local Kmart. He got americium from smoke detectors, lithium from batteries, and then thorium from old gas lanterns. And then he was able to get his hands on radium. And the reason he was able to do so was because early in the 20th century, they actually used radium, a radioactive material, to do glow-in-the-dark lettering on clocks. I should actually do a whole video on radium. There was this whole radium craze that happened around the turn of the century. They just put it in everything. They said, oh, it's got energy that comes out of it. It must be good for you. They put it in toothpaste.
Oh.
It's amazing we're still alive. But to give you an idea of how strong radium is, the way he discovered it
forgot
was
about
that
the toothpaste.
he actually drove around with a Geiger counter in his car, like you do. I mean, the guy was obsessed with radioactivity. And he drove past an antique store and the Geiger counter went off from the street because there was one clock in the antique store that had radium glow-in-the-dark numbers on it. That's how strong this stuff is. And people just put this clock right next to their heads on their bedstands. How are we still a species? In fact, there were some
Me every time we do a science stream. How are we still a species? Just wanted to boil water. Why should he get in trouble? How bad could it be? It's pretty fucking bad. Started reading Marie Curie to assembling a homemade nuclear reactor pipeline. Oh, he's just Walter Whiting this up. The Radium Girls, I remember that story. Yep.
some women called radium girls that were the people that painted these numbers on the clocks, and they would use the brush, a little paintbrush, and like use their lips to get a good point on it and get radium right on their lips. And they had all kinds of cancers. It was this whole thing. I really should do a video on it. Anyway, David was collecting radioactive material from...
I'm sorry, I'm kind of obsessed with him watching this and being like, I should do a video on this. I really should do a video on this, like multiple times.
all these different places, and he even started making phone calls to the Nuclear Regulatory Commission, posing as a college professor. And they were terrifyingly willing to help him find more radioactive material. Finally, he had collected enough of this radioactive material that he felt like he could create a breeder reactor. A breeder reactor is a type of reactor that creates more fissile material than it starts with. The basic idea is you take some fissile material like plutonium and then you surround it by uranium, and then the neutrons flying out of the plutonium kind of transforms the uranium into plutonium and generates heat in the process. Except instead of a uranium shell, he used the thorium that he got from the gas lanterns, and in the middle he put americium and radium. And yeah, the idea was that the radiation from the core would breed the thorium into uranium and possibly the uranium into plutonium. Plutonium. But don't worry, it was heavily shielded by several layers of duct tape. And it was kept in a shed. A wooden shed. Yeah, his parents had kicked him out into a shed now. Can you imagine how many times he destroyed the basement before they were
took his word that he was professor
dude,
is crazy.
just go,
No, that's
just go in the
insane.
backyard, whatever, just blow your face off. So he put this device together, and a few days later he realized that his Geiger counter was going off and showing high levels of radiation. In fact, he was picking up radiation 5 houses down. So he was thrilled this thing was working, but he was also panicking a little bit because it was kind of spinning out of control, so he decided he needed to get rid of this device.
This is insane.
So he loaded this device and some of his equipment into the back of his car, in the trunk of his car, and he started driving. He was going to bury it somewhere. But a cop stopped him because apparently somebody saw him loading up his car and thought that he was stealing tires. So the cop asked if he could look in his trunk, and David gave him fair warning and said, well, there's radioactive stuff back there. So thinking that he might have constructed some kind of dirty bomb, they called in the FBI, who came in and secured the device and arrested David. At this point, nobody, not his parents, not any of his friends, knew that he was doing this, that he was building a nuclear reactor.
Yeah, why would you I wouldn't tell people that.
In his shed. By the way, it took the EPA the better part of a year to finally get into the shed and determine exactly how bad it was, and it was really bad. It was so bad they had to declare the backyard a Superfund site, and they tore down the shed and shipped it off to bury it with a whole bunch of other nuclear waste in Utah. And while the device never quite reached criticality,
No, I can't make that joke. I can't make it. I'm sorry. I can't do it.
he does believe that he may have created some plutonium in the process. And the mom, after all of this, decided that she might get in trouble, so she just threw some of the stuff in the shed away after David got arrested, which means that garbage collectors were just personally handling this and putting it on a truck and just driving it through town. Investigators believe that maybe 4,000 people got elevated levels of radiation.
Oh, God.
A lot of this is just a fun story about a
Potentially 4,000 people got elevated things of radiation.
driven young kid who stopped at nothing to achieve a crazy goal. But there is kind of a tragic side to this story. This whole thing created a bit of a media circus. The parents got a lot of scrutiny out of it, and sadly, a few years after this happened, David's mom killed herself. David later
A warning would have been cool. That's really sad. Thank you for the funny can't make that joke moments. Well, you're welcome. Okay.
Later struggled with depression over this. He had trouble getting into schools. He eventually went into the Navy, where he served for 4 years, was honorably discharged, and sadly, he died in 2016. And he didn't die from radiation poisoning, as many people would expect. He actually died from a combination of alcohol and fentanyl. In the end, he became another statistic in the opioid crisis, which is really unfortunate. He was clearly a really bright guy, and if he had directed that energy in the right direction, who knows what he could have done. But it's not all tragic. Thanks to his story, many others have followed in his footsteps, with a bit more safety in mind. Taylor Wilson, a 14-year-old from Texarkana, Texas, actually built a fusion reactor in 2008, making him the youngest person to ever do so. What he made was called an inertial electrostatic confinement device called a fuser.
I'm sorry, that's such a 2008 haircut.
Which gained him worldwide acclaim. A book was made about him, and he even got to visit with President Obama. And then, not to be outdone, earlier this year, Jackson Oswalt, a 12-year-old from Memphis, Tennessee, was able to do the same thing. Maybe in the future, this will just be something that kids do at kindergarten.
My kid's gonna be 3, making a fusion reactor, be locked in for a baby swell to go science viral.
Like Lego fusion sets or something. So that was the fascinating, over-the-top, and ultimately tragic story of David Hahn. Once again, I have to...
All right, no more of that. Okay, let me go back to science videos. Yikes. All right. Y'all want more science, or y'all watching, y'all want disturbing videos? Science, science, science. Okay, I'm looking for more science. Let's see. No. I don't want to. Let's see. Let's see. God, YouTube recommendations are not hitting lately. Sorry, I'm refreshing the page. God, I'm only getting true crime stuff, chat. Let's see. Okay, hang on. I'm just gonna pull up Kyle's channel, actually. That's a good place to, it's a good baseline. It's funny he does magic. That's all right. I'm good to pass. We stand Kyle.
In the waning days of World War
All right.
II, the United
Hiroshima.
States government decided to conclusively and decisively end the war with Japan with a hitherto unbelievably powerful weapon, the atomic bomb.
I've seen the Goianics
In the
and
August
stuff.
of 1945, a 15
one's
kiloton
crazy.
nuclear warhead was dropped on the Japanese city of Hiroshima, where I'm standing right now. Hiroshima remains one of the only two locations on Earth where people witnessed firsthand the awesome and terrible power of an atom split for offensive purposes. But unlike other cities that have had brushes with nuclear disasters like Pripyat in Ukraine and Fukushima here in Japan, Hiroshima is not abandoned. Far from it. As you can see, the city is flourishing. Why? The answer has as much to do with history as it does physics. This is the true story of how Hiroshima survived the atomic bomb.
Yeah, Kyle has Fabio hair. Bombs special.
Millions of mostly young men had already died in the meat grinders of World War II's battlefronts when, in 1945, the United States decided that a few 100,000 more lives would be the final nail in so many coffins. To avoid a ground invasion of Japan, something the Japanese people had already proven would be a tooth-and-nail battle for every square inch of island, then President Harry S. Truman made the impossible decision to, in what would last only milliseconds,
Bombs and
forever
goals.
separate history into two eras:
God.
the time before atomic weapons and the time after.
God.
Just 3 weeks after the first successful nuclear detonation, the Trinity test, U.S. scientists had decided that Hiroshima, Japan, was a city suitable for the shock to leadership that was needed to finally knock an already reeling Japan out of the war. The city was an army depot at the time, surrounded by hills that would provide a focusing effect for what was the most funded and secretive government project in U.S. history. There would be no leaflets dropped this time, no demonstration bomb, no warning shot. The strike was ordered. The bombs that would be dropped? Special.
Ah! Sorry. I hit
On
the wrong-
August 6th,
Bomb special is... It's crazy to like to have hindsight and see some of these details, you know? Like we've talked about this with a couple of the different like scientific disasters and radiation incidences and things like that we've talked about, where it's like you hear, like with the power of hindsight, you look back and you're like, yeah, why the fuck were you doing that? You know? The bombs labeled special is such an absurd concept with the hindsight of this, you know?
1945, the B-29 bomber, the Enola Gay, had made its top-secret trip across the Pacific Ocean and was approaching Hiroshima from 10 kilometers above. 17 seconds past 8:15 a.m., the bomb, designated Little Boy, dropped silently into clear sky. For almost a minute, nothing happened. The airmen in the Enola Gay feared their mission was a dud. But 44.4 seconds after release, the bomber's cabin filled with a blinding white light. A fireball with the same surface temperature as the sun had expanded to wider than the Eiffel Tower is tall in less than a second, 580 meters above the Shima Surgical Clinic far below them. The intended target was this bridge, approximately 240 meters away from the hospital, but given the apocalypse that followed, the miss didn't matter.
God.
The Enola Gay was already 16 kilometers away when it was rattled by shockwaves. It reportedly felt like being under heavy fire. The crew, most of whom didn't know exactly what they were dropping, was reportedly speechless.
I just want to point out the shorts. That's all. That's all.
It's now something of a legend that Enola's co-pilot Captain Robert A. Lewis broke the silence with, "My God, What have we done? But co-pilot Colonel Paul W. Tippett remembers it differently. Fellows, Tippett announced over the intercom, you have just dropped the first atomic bomb in history.
So you did know what you were dropping. Did we know or did we not know? Boys, what's happening? At least he knew. God, imagine that's how you find out. Oh God, you drop a bomb. You think it's just a big nuke or something. Like, not a nuke. You just think it's like a big bomb. Okay, TNT, something insane. I don't remember, okay? And then you get told you just dropped an atomic bomb. Maybe you don't even fully understand what that means. But you felt that heat, you felt that shockwave. Realize the scale. True. Feels called out.
A short time ago, an American airplane dropped one bomb on Hiroshima and destroyed its usefulness to the enemy. That bomb has more power than 20,000 tons of TNT.
God.
The Japanese began the war from the air at Pearl Harbor. They have been repaid many-fold, and the end is not yet. With this bomb, we have now added a new and revolutionary increase in destruction.
Hard numbers on the number of people that died as the result of the Hiroshima bombing have been revised and revised again for decades. It's hard to get accurate body counts when thousands of bodies were literally turned into vapor.
God.
But it's generally estimated that in less time than it took the Enola Gay to fly to Japan and back, some 70 to 80,000 people had died,
God.
30% of Hiroshima's population. 70%.
30%? God. You know, like, we talk about this in the school chat. I'm American, for those who don't know. Sometimes people think I'm Canadian. And, like, obviously we learn about the wars. Like, we learn about these things. But they obviously, like, this part, they often spend a lot more time on Pearl Harbor and a little less time on the fact that we dropped the atomic bomb. You know? 2, technically. Not technically, we dropped 2, but still.
Percent of the buildings were rubble, or char, or both.
God.
The total number of deaths would increase over the next 20 to 30 days to between 90 and 140,000 people,
God.
as the 70,000 injured succumbed to bodily damage exacerbated by acute radiation syndrome.
Sorry, Chad, I don't know what type of images we're seeing
Unsurprisingly,
here.
the few doctors that were left, 80% had died in the blast, had no idea what acute radiation syndrome was.
God.
It had never happened before, and therefore they could not effectively treat it. This crisis was compounded by the fact that the average radiation dose that would kill approximately 50% of adults, the LD50, was halved for the initial survivors, as radiation injuries stress the same immunological systems that are stretched thin by extensive blast injuries and deep body burns. What you're seeing now are the images that I can safely show on this platform, and in curating them, I may be giving you a false sense of the damage. To be clear, the full reality is much, much worse than what you are seeing here. If you do seek out images of the aftermath, of the bodies featureless after being flash black with otherworldly heat, they will shock you, as they arguably should. For all the destruction it caused, the little boy bomb was terribly inefficient. Of the bomb's 64 kilograms of uranium, less than 1 kilogram underwent fission. This figure made what happened even more terrifying. Every joule of energy that devastated Hiroshima, a fireball so hot it etched negatives of people into concrete, a blast wave so intense it shattered windows 200 kilometers away, came from less than a gram of matter converted directly into energy.
Imagine if all of that had worked as it planned to. Like, imagine how truly devastating that could have been. Like, this was horrifying. This is devastating. Don't misunderstand what I'm saying. It was horrifying. It was devastating. Over 100,000 lives lost in total based off the estimates, potentially. And that's with fractions of the proper fission happening for what they had planned for. Like, that's insane.
Entire city obliterated by the weight of a butterfly. Today's nuclear weapons are thousands of times more powerful.
I need the current administration to stop trying to piss off global powers that have nuclear bombs. I just kind of need him to stop that.
There are 4 ways to offensively detonate a nuclear bomb. What distinguishes them is altitude. Above 100,000 feet, a nuclear...
Sorry, Burden, Winter, I just saw your thing. Thank you for the 420. Thanks for this, all the swell live stream swell. Thank you. Sorry, I just saw that. Hang on. Where was it? When did you do that? That's new. Oh, wait. No, that's the tip through Streamlabs. Now you're on the thing. There it was, 420. Why did it not pop up? We have the alerts for that. That was 11 minutes ago. I'm sorry, Winter. Hi. I don't know why that just popped up here. Thanks for all the swell live stream swell. Thank you for the 420 tip. I don't know why. See, it shows up on the ticker, so it worked there. Why did it not pop up as an alert? Everything's annoying. Thank you. Much appreciated. Thank you for the tip.
Nuclear detonation is considered a high
But see, chat, when you guys tip, you guys end up on the ticker.
altitude burst, which produces a much larger fireball and more electromagnetic effects owing to the lack of a dense atmosphere.
Salute for the tip.
Below 100,000 feet is an air burst, where thermal energy and blast makes it to the ground. A surface burst fireball touches the ground, and a subsurface burst explodes underground or underwater.
God.
Each type of burst has its own tactical considerations. A high-altitude burst might take out enemy communications. An airburst blast wave rebounds off the ground and deals major thermal and blast damage to exposed enemy forces and structures. Surface and subsurface bursts create the most amount of fallout and can destroy hard and/or buried targets.
God.
The burst that leveled Hiroshima in 1945 began half a kilometer above the city. The reflected blast wave and thermal radiation was more than enough to create the shock to leadership the American government wanted. Crucially, however, the fireball did not touch the ground. It was an air burst, so there was not a vast amount of dirt and vaporized debris for radioactive particles and fission products to attach to and fall out of the sky with as they got heavier. By the time the fission products in the cloud at Hiroshima got cool enough to fall out, they had already decayed enough and become diffuse enough to pose no long-term radiological danger to downwind populations. The radiation damage done to Hiroshima's residents occurred over around 60 seconds, and the majority of the residual radiation from the bomb was emitted in 24 hours. It follows from the physics, then, that Hiroshima and Nagasaki, another airburst, would experience few, if any, long-term health effects from nuclear fallout, despite anecdotal evidence to the contrary.
That's crazy.
And indeed, this is what the majority of studies and summaries of studies point towards. And Hiroshima today has a population well over 1 million people. A habitable Hiroshima is contrasted with a place like Pripyat. Here, in 1986, a nuclear reactor exploded and then burned for days, which dispersed actual pieces of nuclear fuel and longer-lived fission products across a large area. There was no nuclear detonation. Chernobyl was effectively a dirty bomb, not a nuclear one.
God.
As a result, Pripyat will remain abandoned for decades, though spending time there isn't as dangerous as you might think. Today, stand in Hiroshima at ground zero with a Geiger counter, and you won't record anything above normal background radiation.
That's crazy, actually.
Far from a nuclear wasteland, you'll find a thriving tourist destination. a carefully curated and cared for park dedicated to that day, where foreigners and buses of local schoolchildren can learn about what happened some 80 years prior. Hiroshima today is a bustling, beautiful city, scarred but healed.
Today, Hiroshima, Japan has undoubtedly risen from the ashes, a consequence of both how offensive nuclear weapons are used and where. 80 years on, this city is a living, breathing monument to both why we need to get rid of our nuclear weapons and, in the face of nuclear weapons, how the human spirit can endure and survive.
Until next time.
All right, chat. I think, because I coughed a little bit more towards the end there, I think I'm going to wrap this up now. Gosh. Focus on my hand. Focus on my hand. Focus. Super serious stream here, chat. Come on. Come on. Focus on my palm. Thank you. Wow. Since I was coughing a bit more, we're going to end the stream here versus going for the 4-hour, just because I do need to edit, and also I don't want to push myself too much just in case my voice is being weird. So, gonna try and find someone to raid out for those of you that have never joined us here on the YouTube side of things. I have no idea what's going to happen when I raid out, so we're going to find out. We're going to raid Scootish because it's Monkey Monday. Have fun with Scootish. YouTube streamers. I can't. There we go. You guys will not raid out probably. It'll just, you guys will see the end of stream until I end things, all right? Bye. Paste. Be nice. Have fun. There we go. And I'll see y'all tomorrow probably after the video goes live. Bye. Have fun.